Welcome, everybody. I'm hoping everything is working properly. I think it is. You know, I've been thinking about it, and I think what I'm going to do when I join a live stream now, instead of saying welcome, everybody, I'm going to say, hey, like that. You know, should catch everyone's attention. Hey. Coughing a bit. Why are you coughing a bit? Don't tell me that. All right. So I want to talk about something right out the gate. The blood transfusion situation. It's a pretty big deal. Oh, shoot. Damn it, man. Wait. Oh, I can hear the game in the background. Let me just save after fixing that. And let me... What was it? Oh, Twitch. I forgot to change the title on Twitch. Damn it. I keep doing that. I keep forgetting to update the Twitch title. Okay. Let's talk about Jehovah's Witnesses before getting into the game. A leaked... all right, let me think about how to start this. A leaked governing body update revealed Jehovah's Witnesses are changing their no blood policy. This is a big fucking deal. Basically, Jehovah's Witnesses... I wrote about this in my book, Understanding Jehovah's Witnesses. Their justification for not taking a blood transfusion is this. The Old Testament says you must not eat blood, you must pour it on the ground. Now, Jews for thousands of years have interpreted that to mean it's a kosher rule because they follow the Mosaic law as Jews. Christians don't follow the Mosaic law because Jesus came along and fulfilled the law when he died. You don't have to keep kosher anymore. But Jehovah's Witnesses took that verse, you must not eat blood, and turned it into, you must not use blood for medical purposes to save people's lives. Now, I looked the word up, eat, and I discovered that that word used in that part of the Bible means to devour through your mouth and into your stomach, specifically. But Jehovah's Witnesses have not cared and have been willing to literally die on this hill. So take a look at this post on r/xjw. Leaked governing body update number 2, March 2026. Blood transfusions are no longer prohibited for Jehovah's Witnesses as long as it's your own stored or pre-donated blood. That's a weird qualification. Isn't this still like a transfusion? I don't understand. My sister sent me this yesterday. In governing body update number 2, 2026, Garrett Loesch announces that storing self-donated blood is now a personal decision. Each Christian must decide for himself how it will be used in all medical or surgical care, including whether to allow it to be removed, stored, and later reinfused. A reinfusion is still a blood transfusion, though. You know what? I'll take it. It's a win. When I was little, my dad needed quadruple bypass surgery. He was going to die. And no doctor would perform this surgery on him unless he was willing to take a blood transfusion. And he wasn't. So we came to peace with the fact that my dad was going to die. For no reason. Until a doctor from like Cincinnati, Ohio, 3 hours away or something, called the hospital and said, I can help. I would be willing to give him a stint, which will push this off a little bit longer. So the doctor gave my dad a stint, and it did push off the bypass 4 or 5 years or so, I think. But he still had to face that down. Now, with this new rule going in place, that means my dad would have been able to prepare for the surgery by storing his own blood ahead of time and regenerating it over the weeks and then reinfusing it during the surgery. So it's a win. It's a stupid fucking win that we shouldn't need to worry about, but I'll take it. I'll take whatever we can get. They used to run a story in the Watchtower or the Awake, I don't remember which, naming all of the children who had died, whose parents had refused blood transfusions on their behalf. Is that tacky? Is tacky the word? I don't feel like that's the right word for what we're talking about here. Welcome, Alpha Force Zero. Let's see. I'm just checking through. Well, don't sweat it. It'll be okay. Alpha Force Zero. Anyway, let's keep reading here. Excerpt of the transcript of Governing Body Update number 2 on stored blood. Sorry, I'm just chewing. Okay. Jehovah God is the life giver, and he wants us to respect the gift of life. One way we show respect for life is by obeying his commands concerning blood. Jehovah gave Noah and his descendants the timeless command: only flesh with its life, its blood, you must not eat. He likewise directed Christians to abstain from what is strangled and from blood. Okay, I don't remember a bit in the Bible about strangling. That's weird. I guess I didn't read that verse. And from blood. As Jehovah's Witnesses, we conscientiously obey this command today. It also affects the decisions we make about medical treatment involving blood. That's the thing, though. It's not timeless. It's not a timeless command. It was under the Mosaic Law, which was the 613 commandments that Moses provided. It wasn't just 10, by the way, that Moses provided to the Jews. Now, they're picking out one thing that Noah was told after getting off the boat or whatever. That was obviously outlining Jewish expectations, right? How about unforgivable? All right, that one, I'll accept that one. When making decisions about blood, we have also been guided over the years by what the Mosaic Law stated at Leviticus 17:13. If one of the Israelites or some foreigner who's residing in your midst is hunting and catches a wild animal or a bird that may be eaten, he must pour its blood out and cover it with dust. However, is that law binding on Christians? The simple answer is no! That's crazy! For one thing, Christians today are not under the Mosaic Law. As the Apostle Paul said, as recorded at Colossians 2:13-14, God erased the handwritten document that consisted of decrees and was in opposition to us. He has taken it out of the way by nailing it to the torture stake. Basically, they don't follow the Mosaic Law anymore. Yeah. Therefore, Christians are not under the command that blood be poured out and covered with dust. Furthermore, the Bible does not comment on the use of a person's own blood in medical and surgical care. Correction, it doesn't comment on blood use in medical and surgical care. Okay, the Bible at its absolute best says you should not devour blood through your mouth and into your stomach. It says nothing about life-saving treatment. And on that note, I make this argument in my book as well. Blood God never demanded human sacrifice. Only a total of arguably 2 or 3 times did he ever demand a human sacrifice as part of being one of his people. The first one was Jephthah, who promised God the first thing that came out of his house to greet him when he got home, probably figuring it would be his dog, right? Dogs can hear you from a mile away. If he got to win this battle. And he won the battle, so he shows up back at his house, and who runs out to greet him? Not his dog, but his daughter. So he kept his promise, and she went off and lived her life for a couple of months in the woods and then was sacrificed to God. And arguably the second one is Jesus, but that's not really a human sacrifice exactly, right? I think there's one more case that's arguably kind of human sacrifice. I forget what it is, but the point is it was not expected in regular worship. And Jehovah's Witnesses frame the blood issue as sacrifice to Jehovah. If I wanted to get all Pentecostal on their ass, I would say they're worshiping a false god who demands human sacrifice. But I don't even believe in any of this shit, so. Regarding the use of one's own blood, our position has been, as is stated in the October 15th, 2000 issue of the Watchtower. There it says, a Christian must decide for himself how his own blood will be handled in the course of a surgical procedure, medical test, or current therapy. Oh, I see. So you're saying you've held this position all along, and you're just reminding people of the position. Okay, got it. For that reason, many Christians accept simple procedures such as blood tests, as well as more complicated procedures involving their own blood, such as the use of heart-lung machines, cell salvage devices, and kidney dialysis treatments. However, the list of treatment options continues to grow. Therefore, after much prayer and consideration of the scriptures, the governing body has decided to clarify our position on the use of a patient's own blood in medical and surgical care. The clarification is this. Each Christian must decide for himself how his own blood will be used in all medical and surgical care. This includes whether to allow his own blood to be removed, stored, and given back to him. That's a big fucking deal. But you can see that it's an incremental change. It's a small thing. I believe they're going to move in the right direction incrementally even further. And the reason I think that is because after Toni Morris, that shithead governing body member left or was fired or whatever, everything changed. Women can wear pants. Men can have beards. You can talk to disfellowshipped people, quote unquote, a little bit, depending on the situation. They're changing a lot, which is fantastic. Unfortunately, the culture is still one that is destructive to people, deeply destructive, but it is improving. I'll give them that. It's improving. It's done untold amounts of damage to my life, and I will never forgive them for that. And they're incorrect on pretty much every single thing they say, like factually just incorrect. But I will take incremental steps in the right direction. I'll take it. In review, Christians are not under the Mosaic law. However, we obey the apostolic command to abstain from blood. Furthermore, the Bible, it's not an apostolic command. I'm sorry. I'm not going to give that to you. Furthermore, the Bible does not comment on the use of a person's own blood in medical and surgical care. Therefore, like the other choices about healthcare, each Christian must make his own decision about the use of his own blood in all medical and surgical care. I think Garrett Loesch is actually kind of losing it. He's German. He's, I believe, the longest serving governing body member. And a while back, he was giving a talk in front of somebody, I'm not sure who, and randomly started giving the talk in German. And somebody leaned out and said, "English, brother." I actually have video of that. That's like a sign of cognitive, decay. Is that the word? I'm not sure where to find the clip. But the point is, Loesch is in bad shape, dude. In this report, we shared encouraging updates about the Italy branch construction project and about our brothers in Russia. Anyway, yeah, that's the end of it. Point is, holy shit, that's a big fucking deal, and I cannot believe they're doing that. Tell me what you think about it in the comments. All right. I guess I'm going to call it there. That part, I mean, that section. Let's talk about something, shall we? Let's see here. What does Fuentes have going on? Joe Kent resigns from Trump administration. Trump defends Mark Levin. These super chats are too much. Oh, that's right. I forgot about this. We may watch that. That seems kind of interesting. Let's see. What else we got going on?
Review of the land of the damage that has been done through the 19th Amendment and why it's not just wrong against Scripture, coming from a biblical patriarchal perspective, but why it's never been done throughout history from any other nation. And any other nation that embraces such a view where you're putting women in charge of making decisions for a particular nation, that nation falls. And so I think there's going to be a lot of evidence, a lot of research, a lot of even looking at women suffer more from women's suffrage. Also that you have.
What a piece of shit. Looking at women suffer more from women's suffrage, their right to vote. Vile.
When the 19th Amendment first came to be, that there was a massive group of women that were against it. Mm-hmm. And so you never hear some of these narratives. So the history of it, the argument against it, and many reasons justifying it, I think that by the end, people are going to go, wow, I think women at the end are going to go, we must repeal this. And that's my hope.
Fucking insane.
Celebrate.
All right, I'm going to go grab coffee, and I'm going to let this play for just a second while I do, okay?
Like, America is worth celebrating.
Yes.
Forget the nonsense when people are like, it's so bad and evil. Okay, let me hard pause for a second. You pick any atrocity you want in American history, and this is like challenging people all the time. I will speak at universities and high schools, and I'm like, hey, here's a challenge for you. Usually for skeptics. I'm like, I disagree with you. I'm like, okay, pick an atrocity in American history. You pick any one, and I'm going to ask you two questions. So you know it's coming. Mm-hmm. How did the atrocity end, and who led the opposition? Because without exception, the way it ended is because Christians, churches, and pastors got involved and led the opposition. Why did we stop the witch trials in America? Because of Christian pastors saying that actually violates what the Bible says. Who was leading the opposition against the Indian removal when their land was being taken? It was Christians. Who were the ones that the abolitionists stopping slavery? It was Christians. You can't find a single thing in America when people are like, we're so bad because we did this. I would actually counter the opposite. Like, America is worth celebrating.
Yes.
Forget the nonsense when people are like, it's so bad and evil. Okay, let me hard pause for a second. You pick any atrocity you want in American history, and this is like challenging people all the time. I will speak at universities and high schools, and I'm like, hey, here's a challenge for you. Usually for skeptics. I'm like, I disagree with you. I'm like, okay, pick an atrocity in American history. You pick any one, and I'm going to ask you two questions. So you know it's coming.
Mm-hmm. He's such an idiot, dude. I cannot fucking stand this guy.
How did the atrocity end, and who led the opposition? Because without exception, the way it ended is because Christians, churches, and pastors got involved in...
Absolutely not. Complete bullshit. People were using the Bible to justify slavery. That's total nonsense.
Led the opposition. Why did we stop the witch trials in America? Because of Christian pastors.
They were the ones burning people. Are you fucking kidding me right now? We stopped burning people because of the pastors? You cannot be fucking real with this.
Saying that actually violates what the Bible says. Who was leading the opposition against the Indian removal when their land was being taken? It was Christians.
This is fucking insane. I cannot believe he had the twig and berries to lie to people's face like this.
Who were the ones that the abolitionists stopping slavery?
That would be the fucking non-Christians, the secularists. Let me rephrase. It's the silent majority. It's the people who are unhappy with the way things were going, but the most fervently pro-slavery people were the Christians. They had Christian justifications for slavery. And they were hard to argue with, honestly, from a Christian perspective. That is the most insane shit I have ever heard in my fucking life. You think Christianity solves all of the world's problems? There's no way he believes that. He cannot possibly.
It was Christians.
By the way, yeah. It was John Brown, actually, leading slave rebellions. You know, this kind of fucking gets to me when people say it was Christians and white people who freed the slaves. No, it was the slaves who freed the slaves. They freed themselves. They weren't granted this by others. They fought for it every inch of the fucking way. And it's offensive for people to claim credit for shit that the slaves fought for. Anyway, vile shit, dude. These people are fucking shameless. They will lie about anything. They don't give a fuck. Anyway, all right, let's move on. I was looking for something interesting. Calvin Robinson? I remember him. He may be a long-form video later. McLeod. Kai. He's on Jubilee all the time. Let's see, what else we got? It was the Christians who saved the Salem witches from being burned. What a wild thing to say. Former Watchtower lawyer. In the end, apostates won. What's all this then? Philip Brumley, Esquire, violated a federal law that pertains to lawyers, and he tried to appeal and lost. Lawyers get disbarred when they violate federal law. Read my post in the subpost. That's interesting. He's known as Philip Brumley. I'm not sure why they're putting him in a dress. What's all this?
Good morning, Your Honors. May it please the court, Benjamin Shatter, not a lawyer statute. All have to do with the lawyer.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is. There was something else I wanted to watch. What was it? I'm remembering now. It was, hold on. Did I send it to myself in that group chat? Just a second here. Where the hell did I put it? Maybe I didn't put it in the group chat. That's weird. I'm sorry. I'm just looking for this. The hell did I do with it? It's gone. It was Jehovah's Witnesses. And what was it? It was it's on the tip of my tongue. What was it about? It was son of a bitch. Oh, it was about that House of Commons guy. Is that it's the House of Commons, right? Maybe not. Yes, it is. Sam Carling. I believe he's an MP now. Brand new MP. And he just called for
pleased to discuss.
He's apparently an ex-Jehovah's Witness.
And safeguarding the two issues. That the duty proposed today.
That's cool, right? What the hell's going on with this?
The question is that this House do now adjourn Sam Carling on safeguarding in small religious
organisations, and I co-stand calling.
Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker. Over this Labour government's term in office so far, we have spent a lot of time discussing and highlighting the evils of child abuse and the exploitation of children, in particular women and girls. And there's been a lot of progress.
Go and download a bunch of podcasts on Patreon to listen while playing video games during Sunday services. Okay, appreciate that. That sounds awesome. Yeah, fuck Sunday services, right?
The audit from Baroness Casey into grooming...
Wait, anyone seen Drunken Alex Jones on Tim Pool? No. We're looking for something to watch. Let's pull that puppy up, shall we? Wait, it may be on Rumble. Tim Pool, Alex Jones. Revenge of the Sis. Is this it?
We've got this from the AP. This is what's next. In the UK, we're going to take...
No, that's a newer, shorter form clip. Timcast IRL. 6 days ago, Joe Rogan warns Iran might attack the White House. UFC. Oh, please, dude. These people are fucking ridiculous human beings. Nobody really believes Iran is going to attack the White House during a... Gee, please. Let's see. Timcast IRL. Videos. They lost big. FBI targets him. Matthew Marsden discusses his time in Hollywood. Out of control. They're wasting time. They're lying about Tim Pool. People are so stupid. All right, let's watch this for now. Megyn Kelly had a conversation.
Also said this on the
Wait, let me jump forward so I have both of them in shot. See, yeah. Megyn Kelly had a conversation with Marjorie Taylor Greene a while back. I just want to listen to what they had to say. It's about the Iran war. And Marjorie Taylor Greene basically turns on Trump even more in this.
Hey everyone, I'm Megyn Kelly. Welcome to the Megyn Kelly Show. The war on Iran has begun. Where it ends and what's ahead for the United States remains unclear at this hour. U.S. Central Command, which oversees our military operations in the Middle East, announcing early this morning that now 4 U.S. service members have been killed. That's up from 3 yesterday, 1 service member succumbing to his or her injuries. Just a short time ago, President Trump gave an interview to the New York Post where he did not rule out potentially sending U.S. ground troops into Iran. The president saying, quote,
they're there now. They are in there. We have, I think, 7,500 Marines now in Iran, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't have the yips with respect to boots on the ground. Like every president says, there will be no boots on the ground. I don't say it. I say probably don't need them, or if they were necessary. First and foremost, I, Megyn Kelly, am praying for the troops.
Is it weird to anybody else that she's wearing a turtleneck with a boob window? Just a turtleneck with a boob window. It's no deeper than that. There's no fashion statement being made here. There's no other practical reason for the boob window except for just boobs. I don't know. It's just kind of weird to me. Whatever. Okay.
That's where my mind immediately went. The guys and the gals who have to actually carry out this mission. Why again? And put
Wait, what's this? The Majority Report has it up too? Hold on. What? Let me see. Let me see if I can figure out what you're talking about here. Are they live? No? What are people talking about? Is there something going on right now with Tim Pool? I'm not seeing anything. Is he drunk? I would love to see drunk Alex Jones. Just 11 hours ago. Okay. That's interesting. I may have to cover that later. Let's continue.
Their lives on the line. For whom again? Are the ones who are on my mind. And I prayed for them mightily yesterday and the day before. And I hope you have and will continue to as well. Look, there are massive divisions over what we've done here. And people are going to change their minds over the coming days and weeks, one way or the other. But my own feeling is no one should have to die for a foreign country. I don't think those 4 service members died for the United States. I think they died for Iran or for Israel. I think I understand how this helps Iran perfectly well. I get it. I mean, I hope. Long term, we'll see. But they seem rather jubilant. 80% of the country does not support the Ayatollah. He was a terrible, terrible man. No one's crying that he's dead. No normal person. But our government's job is not to look out for Iran or for Israel. It's to look out for us. And this feels very much to me like it is clearly Israel's war.
100%, without a doubt. Somebody said that it's on Tim Pool's channel. Alex breaks down. Jones breaks down. I can't find it. Damn. I hope they didn't take it down or something. That would be super sad. Is it on his YouTube channel, maybe? Here.
From Mediaite. I'm gonna go. Knowing that most people.
Right, this isn't Alex Jones, though. That's sad. Okay, well, if somebody can find it, then let me know what you find. Let's continue.
Mark Levin wanted it. It's his war. Ben Shapiro, Lindsey Graham, Miriam Adelson. That's obvious. They're the ones who've been pushing us into this. But in case you had any doubt whatsoever, the Washington Post is reporting it explicitly this morning. Explicitly about why we did what we did and when we did it. In the briefing on Tuesday for the Gang of Eight, which consists of the leaders of the House, the Senate, and each chamber's intel committees, Secretary of State Marco Rubio indicated to lawmakers that the mission's timing and goals were shaped by the fact that Israel was going to attack with or without the United States, according to a person familiar with the outreach to lawmakers. So the only debate that seemed to be remaining was whether the U.S. would launch in concert with Israel or if the U.S. would wait until Iran retaliated on U.S. military targets in the region and then
absolutely absurd. This whole thing, everything about it is fucking stupid.
Engage. That sounds perfectly right. I mean, I think you knew that before you heard me read it from the Washington Post. So Israel said they were going to do it. Tucker Carlson said this on the show on Thursday. He said exactly that. And sure enough, that was the position that we were in. And it would explain perfectly why President Trump seems to be having so much difficulty clearly defining why we are doing this. I mean, I don't know about you, but I have found the explanations lacking. I woke up on Saturday morning like the rest of you to his videotaped announcement where he was wearing the hat, did not walk away with a clear understanding of what we're doing. It was restatements of things we've known for years. Yeah, we hate Iran. They hate us too. We've known that. Why are we doing this now? What is the catalyst? Obviously, President Trump does not want to say we did it because of Israel. What he said instead was, quote, our objective is to defend the American people. Okay, so far that sounds good. Why do we need defending? By eliminating imminent threats, he said, from the Iranian regime. Okay, we're under imminent threat now. What is it? What's the imminent threat from the Iranian regime? We saw CNN's Scott Jennings, who's always talking with the administration.
It's obviously complete nonsense, right? The whole thing was fabricated. And somebody I was watching recently, it was Antony Blinken said, basically, they did this exact thing to Biden. Like, they tried to pressure Biden into doing this, into going to war with Iran. And it didn't work in Biden's case. But it did work in Trump's case, because at the end of the day, Trump is a sucker and an idiot and gullible. And if you stroke his ego enough, he'll do absolutely anything for you. That is exactly what happened. Like the dipshit that he is, he fell for it. Like the sucker that he is.
Parroting this over the weekend, posting on X, quote, senior Trump admin officials telling me that credible intel indicated Iran planned preemptive missile strikes against U.S. military targets in the
Absolutely absurd.
region. and against civilian targets as well. Failure to act would have resulted in mass U.S. casualties. Does that make any sense to you? I mean, stop and think about it for a minute. I'm close to this administration in many ways as well, but I don't allow them to use me like a fool.
Okay.
Does it make any sense to you that Iran was planning preemptive strikes against us and our civilians, knowing full well of the massive military assets we had moved into the region, the aircraft carriers and so on? Obviously, it doesn't. And sure enough, now today, it's all over. I mean, the Washington Post, U.S. intel assessments that Iran's forces were unlikely to pose an imminent threat to the U.S. mainland within the next decade. Okay, again, the attack came despite U.S. intel assessments that Iran's forces were unlikely to pose an immediate threat to the U.S. mainland within the next decade. And beyond that, CNN and Reuters report that Trump administration officials on Sunday acknowledged in closed-door briefings with congressional staff to whom they're obligated to brief, to speak and give their intel, quote, there was no intelligence suggesting Iran planned to attack U.S. forces first or to strike our bases in the Middle East. Okay, so there was no indication of an imminent attack. I don't know why Trump said that other than to try to justify the actions. But now we've heard it from several different reporting centers that there was none on the homeland, there was none on our outposts, there was none on our forces, and there was none on our bases in the Middle East. President Trump cited a long list after that of terrible things that Iran has done to the United States or its forces over the years, dating back to when I was 8. Okay, so I mean, I realized the 1979 taking of the hostages for 444 days was bad, but like literally, I was in 3rd grade, and it seems like why now? Why now? Why when we are so fatigued?
Because Trump is a sucker, obviously, and he suckered these, and he was suckered into doing this by Israel, and he fell for it.
With Middle East war, would we be retaliating against them now? So like, give me another reason, please, because it felt very much like a kitchen sink approach. If we're going back, probably involved in the USS Cole, like all these, the attacks in Beirut, like this is ancient history. There is nobody under the age of 50 who even has an active knowledge of any of that stuff. As for what they've done with like the Houthis and all that, like, first of all, a lot of these wrongs have been on the books for a long time, and many of them have already resulted in sanctions or retaliation by the United States, which leaves us asking again, why are we doing this and why now? President Trump mentioned he felt like we were getting tapped along by the negotiators dealing with our nuclear representatives, Kushner and Witkoff, which I believe, yeah, I'm sure they did. That's all they ever do. But Trump himself told us that we obliterated that program. That was his word. Obliterated.
Trump? Lie? Color me surprised. I can't believe it.
Last June, we obliterated their nuclear program. Like, not 4 years ago, 7 months ago. He mentioned that they still had, quote, ambitions to make a nuke, which I believe. So is this...
No, it's complete nonsense. They signed the nuclear deal 10 years ago and were abiding by it flawlessly the entire time. That is absolutely fucking absurd.
About bombing them out of their ambition? Is that why 4 service members are dead and their families are grieving them today because Iran had ambitions? That can't be it. I don't understand fully what's going on here. I do believe Trump doesn't want to get us into another forever war. And I believe...
Then you are also a fucking sucker.
He wouldn't willingly submit to quagmire. In his mind, he thinks he can do this. He's been all over the board on the timing of it too, but generally he's saying 4 weeks or so. And he thinks we can do enough damage to them over the course of 4 weeks that we can achieve what? Again, I don't know. Is that going to bomb them out of their ambition? We don't know who's taking over. The Ayatollah's dead. Again, it's a great thing.
We found out that the Ayatollah's son took over.
It's like finding out that somebody like Hitler has died. There's only one correct response. Yay.
He was a bad person, for sure.
But, regime change wars and taking out another country's leader is full of danger too. Reportedly, there were family members of the Ayatollah that were also killed. There was at least one report that also a granddaughter of his. I pray for the Trump family. I don't want anything to happen to them. And we increase the risk of that with this behavior. He's already, Trump said he tried to kill me twice. I got him first. So
no, please. He didn't try to kill Trump. And I think there was something to the claim that they wanted him dead. But I don't like the people who tried to kill Trump were white conservative men, right?
Clearly Trump believed the reports that the Iranians were planning on murdering him, assassinating him. There has been
absolutely no chance of that. I'm sorry, I just don't buy it.
Some speculation that they were actually behind a thwarted attack, not any of the ones that we actually know about.
Then what evidence could there possibly be if we don't even know about one? What are you talking about?
The one in Butler or the one on his golf course, but another. So I get it. I got him before he got me. Okay. Maybe you could make the case for one targeted bombing of the Ayatollah if that's what we wanted to do. But this is well beyond that. We're going to be there for a month. We've taken out 40 plus members of the regime. What are we going to do about all the other members of the regime? Because right now Trump is saying we think they're going to put down their arms, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard members, which is the most vicious group they have over there, and join with the Iranian patriots in the streets, he said. They are? Based on what? Because they were literally shooting the Iranian protesters in the face a couple of weeks ago. I've got serious doubts about what we're doing. I support the president. I voted for the president. I campaigned for the president, as you know. But that doesn't mean, and being a conservative or being a Trump supporter or being part of MAGA does not mean you have to accept another Middle East war without questions. And anybody who tells you that can suck it. There's nothing unpatriotic.
Yeah, go suck eggs.
Tells you that can suck it. There's nothing unpatriotic or unsupportive of one's conservatism or general adherence to MAGA type principles to say, I would like to be better convinced that this is worth the sacrifice of American blood and treasure. That's where I am. That's where a lot of people are. And over the next 2 hours, we've got a series of guests who will talk us through all of the angles. Hour 2, we are going to have two of our favorites from National Review, National Review is definitely neocon. And they will defend the president and explain to us why they think this makes sense. And the president deserves that here. And there are millions of Americans who are behind this. If you spend 2 minutes on X, you will be persuaded that all of America supports this, which isn't true. So Rich Lowry's here. So is Charles C.W. Cook. They'll explain it to us.
C.W. what?
So Rich Lowry's here. So is Charles C.W. Cook. They'll explain it to us all. We're also going to be joined in just a bit by Iranian-American journalist Sohrab Ahmari. He's terrific, and he's been writing a lot about, what the risks are, what the benefits are, and how we should be thinking about this conflict. But we start today with a detractor, somebody who does not like what she's seeing, and that view will also be represented on this program.
That's Marjorie Taylor Greene.
And that is former U.S. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. Don't miss a moment. Subscribe.
No, thank you. I'm going to miss all of these moments. Okay.
Our sponsor, the
Oh my God, dude. What is she selling? Guard your car? I don't know what that is. All right, let's continue here.
Congress to guard your card. It's great to see you. Thank you for being here. I sense your aggravation, your frustration as I watched your Twitter feed, and you were in the minority on X, which again, it was just, X is completely saturated in neocons, the pro-Israel crowd, and people who would love to cheerlead us right into another Middle East ground war that's endless. I was grateful for your contrary perspective, Marjorie. Thank you for being here today, and give us your overall view on why you're against this.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Megan. And I completely agree with everything you said in your intro. I'd also like to point out that X is saturated in bots as well, and paid social
Hey, fair enough.
media influencers who just echo whatever their money tells them to say, the money that they're getting paid for. And so I think that just like our media has been nothing but propaganda for as long as you and I can remember, I think social media has turned into the same thing.
I'm wondering if she realizes that that was QAnon as well, just a big operation to brainwash people. Do you think she realizes that?
What I do know is most Americans, and it's being proved in polling that's coming out, most Americans are completely against this war because, like you said, the president has made no case for it. We live our ordinary lives and we don't feel threatened by Iran. We don't walk around thinking that in any moment an Iranian ballistic missile is going to land on our head. We don't. Here's what Americans, and I want to read off this list. This is what Americans are focused on. 72% of Americans can't afford health insurance. 58% of Americans can't afford car insurance. 67% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. 31% of Americans can't afford their back taxes. 50% of Americans are in credit card debt, massive credit card debt. That's where we are in America. And I campaigned with the president. As a matter of fact, I was one of the only Republicans that was out there for Donald Trump when the rest of the neocons, by the way, that are just cheering him on now, had abandoned him and were trying to beat him in a primary.
Yeah, and why did people abandon Donald Trump? Because of all the shit that you're recognizing right now. You think this shit is new? No. Trump has always been a fucking scumbag since day one. I don't understand how she's just realizing this.
Stop him from being president again. I was out there on the front lines for Make America Great Again. And Make America Great Again was supposed to be America first, not Israel first, not any foreign country first, not any foreign people first, but the American people first and our problems. And God bless the Iranian people. I hope to God that they can have a government that is for them and that treats women fairly. But what we have seen happen right now is we have seen over 100 little girls killed at a school from a bomb. And I don't know whose bomb it was, but they're dead today because America and Israel attacked Iran. So that's not really good for Iranian women. And our president is saying that the Iranian people are all of a sudden going to topple their regime. Well, I don't think the Iranian people are going to be toppling their regime when they're getting blown apart by the United States and Israel in an unprovoked attack. And yes, it was unprovoked.
Oh my God, yes. I agree with literally all of this. Top tier shit.
And Pete Hegseth said this morning, Megan, he said that we didn't start this war. But I hate to argue with the Secretary of the Department of War. America and Israel definitely started this war. And
absolutely.
You can't lie that away to the American people. And
I think he can, actually. He's going to do his damn best at this. The problem is that these people will believe anything people tell them, anything said to them. Like you did, for example, Marjorie Taylor Greene. You believed everything Trump said. I'm glad she's breaking out of the Trump cult, but I'm sad that she's still a member of the right-wing extremism / QAnon cult.
And so, you know how I feel right now? I am irate. I am furious about this. We are nearly 40 trillion.
Hey, welcome, Alpha Force Zero, in the chat again.
I am irate. I am furious about this. We are nearly $40 trillion in debt. How much is this war going to cost us? We have seen enough of our American troops dead and murdered for foreign countries.
You really didn't see this coming, dumbass?
And now we've had 4 dead and murdered, just like you said, for Israel and for the Iranian people, not for the American people. And I don't want to see any more dead and murdered. Our military is filled with some of the greatest people from our country. And God bless their families who are probably losing their minds right now, terrified that their son or daughter or their husband or wife or brother or sister may come home in a flag-draped coffin. And then we have the president who, by the way, Megan, this really needs to be said.
Oh boy, buckle up.
Donald Trump has said repeatedly on camera and in interviews, he doesn't think he's going to heaven. Well, I want to ask a question, a serious question. What is in his mind? What is his mental state? If he doesn't think he's going to heaven and he is a man towards the end, he's in the fourth quarter, he's towards the end of his life. How does that pan out for the rest of us when we have a president of the United States who doesn't think and is convinced he's not going to heaven? What does that mean his decision making is?
That's interesting. I was wondering how people are going to attach to that or how they were going to view that. Apparently, the vast majority of MAGA doesn't care about that. They're totally fine with it. But it bothers Marjorie Taylor Greene, apparently. Absolutely fascinating. I think people like Marjorie Taylor Greene... Oh, shoot, I just realized I forgot to rejunction my stuff. Damn, that sucks. I think people like Marjorie Taylor Greene really believe that they're doing the right thing for the United States, the morally good thing, by, you know, hunting immigrants for sport, basically. But Trump knows better. He knows what he's doing is morally wrong and pointless and only hurting other people. I suspect that's the case. You know, Trump is a bad person. Like, outside of the presidency, outside of the past 15 years, he's a bad fucking person. Like, really bad. And it's absurd to me that people don't see that they haven't seen that all along.
He said to the New York Post today that he doesn't care about the polling. He doesn't care about what the American people think, and he may put troops on the ground. He took this is going to be a few-day war, to now it's going to be maybe 4 weeks or more. I want to say, what is happening to the man that I supported, you supported, the man that denounced what happened in Iraq, the man that said no more foreign wars, no more regime change, promised it on the campaign. J.D. Vance promised it.
I cannot believe she fell for that stupid shit. You are the biggest sucker on planet Earth.
Tulsi Gabbard promised it. All of them promised it. And we're a year in, and we're in another fucking war, and we've got American troops being killed. I think it's time for America to rip the Band-Aid off, and we need to have a serious conversation about what the fuck is happening to this country and who...
Language, madam. You think you're getting to heaven with a mouth like that?
Who in the hell are these decisions being made for, and who is making these decisions?
Mm-hmm. The president on the heaven thing has said he was being cheeky about that he actually doesn't have worries, but...
Yeah. I don't know what's the joke? Can you explain the joke for me? What do you mean he's being cheeky? I don't understand. Please explain it to me. I genuinely don't get what the joke would be. Seriously.
I understand your greater point. Who is making the decisions? Because the President Trump that was talking to us about going in and, you know, we're going to, the Iranian people, they're going to thank me, you know, like I did you a favor. I made you a promise and I lived up to it. He was talking to the Iranian people, not the American people.
Yeah.
I made you a promise and I lived up. What do you mean? They didn't vote for you.
That's right.
They weren't on the campaign trail for you.
Nope.
We're the ones who are putting our best and bravest at risk right now. And he says the Iranian people it's up to them to now sort of take the baton and like install new leadership. They have no guns. They're sheltering in place because we're bombing their country right now. How are they what is the plan for them to then take the baton and install a new leader?
Mm-hmm.
That's not how it ever works. The worst person imaginable is the one who ends up with control of a country when there's a power vacuum like that and there's complete chaos.
How are they going to do that with the IRGC still intact and they're still being Iranian leaders? Not everybody was wiped out. And his comments to the press today seem to be they're going to lay down their arms and join with the Iranian patriots.
No, they're not.
Based on what?
Yeah.
Based on what? So if that doesn't happen willingly, just by the grace of God, okay, we're going to do it. then we are going to have to do it, or Israel's going to have to do it. And the more Israel fights, the more we have to fight, MTG, because that's what got us into this mess.
Did she unironically just call her MTG like that's her name? Hey, MTG. Hey, you want to have a beer with me, MTG?
To begin with, we saw they were going to head and do it, and we felt like we had no choice because they were going to attack our bases first thing as soon as Israel did it.
That's right. No, you're absolutely right. And I heard an analyst say today that okay, we've killed approximately maybe 40 or more of their top leadership and the Ayatollah. Well, guess what? The cleric ruling class is about 50,000 deep in their government. I mean, are we going to kill all 50,000 of them before?
Right, exactly.
Before they can bring a new government in. And while this is happening, Megan, we're bombing them. We are bombing them and killing their people and destroying their buildings and wreaking havoc on their entire ability to function in daily life. Do we really think these people are going to be saying, oh, thank you, America. Thank you. God bless you. We're killing them and killing their children. So I think we're radicalizing a whole new generation of Iranians.
That's what I worry about, too.
That weren't.
Absolutely. That's what happened in Gaza, honestly. That's how it works. You attack people and make their lives miserable. That's what happens. You create another generation of terrorists.
Don't remember, like me and you, we don't remember. We were kids when the last regime was taken out and this new regime was put in. And I think this whole thing this is not what we voted for, Megan. It is absolutely America last. It's the same bullshit we've seen for decades now. And I don't think the president is being tongue in cheek. I know that man very well. And he repeatedly says he's not going to heaven, the same way he repeatedly says that what do you think? Should I run for president again? I think that started out as we could take it as a joke, but I don't think he's joking.
No, he's absolutely not joking. Everybody knows he's not joking. I'm glad to see that she recognizes now that it's not a joke, though. I'm glad to see that she recognizes that his jokes are thinly veiled plans that he has.
And I know you're not willing to go there, but I am. I really want to know, what is his mental state and who is he doing this for? Because it's not for the American people. He's lying. He's gone back on what he promised. No more foreign wars.
Boy, she doesn't give a fuck anymore, does she? Damn.
No more regime change. And I want to know, where the hell is J.D. Vance? Where is he? Where is Tulsi Gabbard? Because if they stand by and are silent, and they're turning back on the same words they said, it's all on video. All of them are on video saying it.
Tear him up, MTG.
Just like I'm on video saying no more foreign wars, no more regime change. I'm on video on campaign stages and at Trump rallies saying the exact same thing. But where's JD and where's Tulsi? And the president.
Well, I'm sure behind the scenes, at least JD has worked to stop this, but he's lost. I mean, that
JD worked to stop this? What gives you that idea? That's absurd. I don't know what she could possibly, I don't know what could have possibly given her that impression.
He's got to say
what's obvious now is any detractor. The same way Tucker went in and tried to talk Trump out of this.
That I believe.
He lost and admitted the Mark Levins of the world have won.
Yep.
I mean,
the Mark Levins of the world. Mark Levin is famous for being Jewish. So that's what they mean when they say that. Again, I know that Israel is pulling strings to try to get this war to move forward, to make this happen. So it's kind of a fair criticism, but when it's coming from Nazis, I'm a little more hesitant to accept it, is all.
Mark Levin and Lindsey Graham, forgive me, spent the entire weekend with a massive heart-on. There's just you could see it.
I forgive you.
In the commentary, they were thrilled. They were gleeful. I mean, they were just overly excited at the fact that we were now risking American troops' lives for Israel. And what does Lindsey Graham do to go out there and quell anybody's concerns that that's what we're doing? He just keeps doubling down and doubling down. And now he's mentioning Cuba. Hold on. Do we have that? Yes. Here he is on FNC Sunday night. This is SOT 16.
Is President Trump finished the job that President Reagan failed to do. I am a big admirer of Ronald Reagan, but I'm here to tell you that Donald Trump, in my opinion, is the gold standard for Republicans, maybe any president, and when it comes to foreign policy.
That is absurd in so many ways.
Maduro, everybody talked about him. Well, Donald Trump's got him in jail. Cuba's next. They're going to fall. This communist dictatorship in Cuba, their days are numbered. The Iranian regime, the mothership of international terrorism, is about to collapse. The captain of the ship, the Ayatollah, is stone cold dead.
Cuba's next, they're going to fall. This is after Trump on Friday. We played this bite on our show on Friday, saying maybe we'll have a friendly takeover of Cuba, which we don't know what that means. But now they're talking about Cuba. And let me just give you one more, MTG. The former prime minister.
She is unironically calling her MTG as like a single name.
Of Israel, Naftali Bennett, was at the Conference of Presidents of Major American Jewish Organizations in Jerusalem on February 17th. And listen to what he said then. SOT 20.
A new Turkish threat is emerging. I want to be very clear. Turkey and Qatar have gained influence in Syria, are seeking influence elsewhere and everywhere throughout the region. And from here, I warn, Turkey is the new Iran. Erdogan is sophisticated, dangerous, and he seeks to encircle Israel. And while some senior Israelis were on Qatar's payroll, Qatar and Turkey are nourishing the Islamic Brotherhood monster that is growing and eventually might become as dangerous as the one created by Iran. Turkey and Qatar are gaining influence not only in Syria, but also in Gaza, through the front door, and everywhere, and trying to create a new choke ring. Turkey is trying to flip Saudi Arabia against us and establish a hostile Sunni axis with nuclear Pakistan.
Like, these people are doing everything they can to lie us into another war, and they're not doing a particularly good job at it either.
So where does it end?
I shared that on my social media as well. I think Israel, and I'm talking about the government of Israel, I think these people, they literally are trying to start World War III. It's completely out of control. It will never.
They absolutely are, actually. They're trying to spark Armageddon. Christian Zionists.
No, war will continue when Israel is pushing the United States and demanding that we wage war with them. It will continue as long as we're alive.
Yeah, did you know that Israel actually funded Hamas? Like, Hamas existed as a political party before Israel, interfered or whatever, but they found a way to fund Hamas to try to create chaos in the region. They are directly responsible for the existence of Hamas.
It will never end. And Lindsey Graham, I saw a video of him this morning, and he was choking back tears, swallowing back tears, because he was saying he was so proud of President Trump for declaring war and going to war with Iran. He wasn't choking back tears for the American military members that have been killed and their families who are mourning their deaths right now. He's choking back tears because he's so happy about war. Megan, I can remember on a campaign stage in Lindsey Graham's home county where he was born and went to elementary school, where he's from. I stood on that stage and spoke before him, and I said, no more foreign wars, no more regime change. And I said, we're going to end the war in Ukraine. The crowd went nuts, thousands of people. Then Lindsey Graham came out right behind me and spoke right after me, and they booed him for 10 minutes on stage. That was a little over, I think it was about a year and a half ago. It was
ouch.
During the campaign. They booed him in his home county for 10 minutes straight. But when you watch a video like that from the former prime minister of Israel, all I can think about is the military industrial complex Those guys are lighting up their cigars, drinking their whiskey, and patting each other on the back because all they can think about is how much money they're going to make off the American taxpayers, making bombs, building new aircraft, building new drones, and
Absolutely agreed, for sure.
building all kinds of military equipment just to kill people all over the world. While the American people, all they want is to be able to fucking afford a house, afford health insurance, and be able to maybe live the dream like the baby boomers did and live a family that can live on a single family income and not have both parents working themselves to death so their children have to live in daycare and grow up in daycare. And
100%.
that's the reality that we're in, Megan. It is America last, and it makes me want to vomit. I don't even know if I ever want to vote again. I am so disgusted. Democrats destroyed this country for 4 years, and now Republicans, and we didn't vote for the Lindsey Grahams and the Mark Levins and fucking Laura Loomer. She needs to go over there to Israel because they need 100,000 reservists, and she's 32 years old, so she should go fight in that war too. That's not MAGA. That is not MAGA. That's not America first. This isn't what we voted for. And I can tell you right now, neither party gives us anything. It's back and forth, and it's the uniparty always wins. And this time, it's not even the uniparty for America. It's literally Israel first, and then where is it going to stop?
We had the chance to vote for Ron DeSantis, for Nikki Haley during the presidential primary. I was there. I moderated the debate. We absolutely had that as an option right in front of us, and the Republican Party resoundingly rejected them. I mean, they completely were against Nikki Haley. They thought she was way too much of a neocon hawk. And you had Trump over there saying no more Middle East wars, where I'm going to keep us out of war. I'm the dove president. And look at us. Like you point out, a year into it now, this is a second strike on Iran. We did one strike targeted, said we obliterated the nuclear program. I think most Americans were like, okay, it was risky, but we move on.
Yeah, that's right.
Glad it's gone. And now we're back. We're back in there talking about possible ground troops. Yeah. And we don't know for how long, maybe 4 weeks, but maybe longer. And the quagmire doesn't come because the president says, I would like a quagmire. I would like to spend 20 years in Iran. It comes because the retaliatory attacks start escalating. They attack more of our people than we feel. We can't just pull up and say, okay, it's over. Right. Because they've escalated too. And the Iranians are starting to escalate. Like, they get a say as well in how long this goes on.
Absolutely. I think what we're seeing, it's like you said, who's going to stop? I think what we're going to see is complete annihilation for whoever is annihilated. Is it going to be Iran? Likely so. They're just Israel and America. We're going to keep bombing them until they are completely annihilated, because President Trump himself said last week, he said he was, I forget his exact quote, but it was basically, he said, for once and for all, for once and for all. So he's not going to stop, which means when will it stop? I'll say it again. Americans do not care about a foreign country and their war. We are so done with it. And we thought 2024.
We have our own worries.
Yeah. Okay, look, let's take this down to something simple. Social Security is going to be bankrupt in 7 years.
This is MAGA completely turning on Trump, and I love everything about it.
You and I have been paying into Social Security
Also, Social Security isn't going to be bankrupt in that period of time. It's a mess, but it will continue to pay out a certain amount, until forever, basically, just because that's the nature of how it works. That's a little fear-mongery, but it is a problem. It absolutely is. And it's a problem that needs to be resolved.
All our entire lives. We aren't going to see a Social Security check at this point. We're just not going to see one.
That's not true. Unless the U.S. is borrowing from Social Security and doesn't pay it back, which I believe was happening.
The millennials who that generation, they're like dual working parents. They're never going to see a Social Security check, and they're paying into it. And our kids, Megan, you can forget it. They won't even know what a Social Security check is. It'll be like, oh yeah, that was something our grandparents got. They won't even know. Yeah. I mean, it's absurd. But no. We got to go fight this war in Iran. We got to destroy. We got the Ayatollah. A bunch of people are having to Google search, what is an Ayatollah? They don't even know
Yeah.
what an Ayatollah is. It's so out of control. It is mind numbing. It is infuriating. And I really think both parties need to be burned down. Both parties need to be burned down because Democrats can't pretend like they're against this war. They're all for it too.
Oh, please. You're blaming Democrats for this now? There are a few Zionist Democrats at the top who are in favor of this, like Chuck Schumer, for example, or John Fetterman. But the vast majority of Democrats, people to the left of hunting immigrants for sport, are opposed to this.
They funded,
Oh, yeah.
got all into the Ukraine war. They've been into the wars for years, and so have the Republicans. We have no
Oh
representation
yeah, I mean
in
Joe
Washington.
Biden's been he was funding Israel, you know.
Well, Biden is a Christian Zionist, yes, but that doesn't mean that all Democrats are in favor of this war. They're not.
Without question for the
Yeah.
past 4 years is one of the reasons why his party wound up turning on him, because the Democrats have become anti-Israel. But no, you're right. Both parties love war. I mean, that is clear. And the military-industrial
That's nonsense.
complex always wins.
Yeah,
whether the American people do remains to be seen. MTG, thank you.
Thank you, Megan.
Wow, that was the end of it. Interesting. Tell me what you think about it in the comments. I'm glad to see Marjorie Taylor Greene turning on Trump, because you need major defectors for a regime like this to fall. That's how you make one fall. And people like Kim Jong-un, they've had major defectors recently. It weakens the regime every time that happens. It's good. Yeah, tell me your thoughts. Let's see. Are they still... we've got an hour still left in this. I guess we could continue watching it. See what's going on Tucker Carlson's thing here. What's this shithead up to? Joe Kent reveals all in first interview since resigning at Trump's counterterrorism.
We want to start tonight with a clip from January of 20...
Okay, let's watch some of this. You know what? There was some shit that I wanted to... Hold on. There was some shit I wanted to talk about. I'm trying to remember what it was now. All right, I'm going to download a couple of these videos, and we're going to talk about this, and we're also going to talk about, I think, hold on. Wait, what was this? Oh, that's right, the Josh Duggar thing. Or not Josh Duggar, but what's his name? Joseph Duggar? Yes, Joseph. We should read this article. It's a mess, unfortunately. We'll come back to this in a second. Let's grab this too. And analyze and transcribe. Start. Okay. I'm just grabbing these videos. Grabbed. And now I'm going to pull them up. Joe Kent. Here it is. Okay. Open. Which is this? Hang on. Lord. The Iran war started.
6, 7.
Oh, yeah. claims 6-7 chant is demonic ritual to summon spirits.
You know, there was a man.
Yeah, here we are. Okay. This is Shane Vaughn. He is a Trump nutcase, a Trump theologist. And he has an opinion on the Iran war that he wants to lay down for us.
What wonderful days these days are before the coming of the Lord.
He thinks the Iran war is the start of Armageddon. And he's excited. There's a silver lining behind every mushroom cloud with this dude.
What wonderful days these days are before the coming of the Lord. What wonderful days these days are before the coming of the Lord. Oh, the glory before the coming of the Lord. Hallelujah.
That's fucking psychotic. Absolutely tone deaf. Listen to what he had to say about it.
You know, there was a man in the Bible by the name of King Saul. And God saw that there was a group of people called the Amalekites.
The Amalekites, Jagoff.
That hated Israel. The Amalekites had one desire: to destroy Israel from under the sun. And God raised up King Saul and told Saul, I want you to preemptively strike the Amalekites. I want you to go in and kill every man, woman, boy, and girl. And I don't want you to explain it to Congress. I don't want you to explain it to anybody.
This is obviously thinly veiled analogy, right? He's saying he wants Trump to go in and kill every man, woman, and child in Iran. Because in his mind, Iran is the Amalekites. What the fuck is wrong with these people? Can somebody please tell me what broke in their brains that makes it okay to endorse literal genocide? And on top of that, when did it become okay in society to endorse genocide? This is what cancellation was made for. Unfortunately, you can't cancel people. Let me rephrase. Unfortunately, only your own party, only your own support base can cancel you. I mean, people say Trump is uncancelable. That's not strictly true. He could be canceled tomorrow if he came out as trans or gay. People would instantly stop supporting him. But Shane Vaughn's political party and basis for support is entirely made up of extremist nutcases who are willing to say or do whatever it takes to murder the people that they don't like.
I want you to do what needs to be done to preserve my people a little longer on the face of the earth. Now, if King Saul was to do that today, the entire world would turn against him. But you see, when God is in something and a man doesn't care what the world thinks, he is obeying the dictates of God himself. When God raised up Donald Trump, Iran is to America what Amalek was to Israel. The same thing.
Unfortunately, Shane Vaughn isn't the only one saying this absolutely psychotic, messed up shit. Greg Locke said something similar recently about Canaanites. As it turns out, Lebanon shares about 90% DNA with Canaanites. The Canaanites are Lebanese people. And there's an actual order in the Bible, an active standing order from God to genocide all Canaanites. So Greg Locke is all in.
I whisper something. Right now, they possess much less land than God's actually given them. And there will come a day they'll own all of it.
Talking about Israel.
They'll get the parts of Lebanon. They'll get the parts of Iran. They'll get the parts of Syria. They'll get a little bit of Turkey. They will get all that God has promised them. Because when Joshua walked the land, God said, I'm telling you right now, everything you can walk and everything you can see, I'll give it to you. And let me just say this by way of some vision casting. If you can see far, God will take you far. And the Bible says that God established his covenant with these people. He remembered it forevermore unto the land of Canaan. He said, it's all yours. That promised land, it's all yours. Now, let me just say something. I shared this with my wife this morning. This is just a moment of clarity for our church. Okay, everybody say global vision.
Global vision.
One more time. So this is an application. I'm not writing a book or building a theological premise on this, okay?
That's actually exactly what he's about to do. I don't know why he said that.
But I find it interesting that in order to come into Canaan land, they had to conquer the Canaanites. Now, there is no official group today called the Canaanites. But I find it interesting. Did you know there is a group of people, there is a country that has 90% DNA connection to the Canaanites? You ready for it? It's Lebanon. The Lebanese people have 90% DNA connection to the Canaanite. And I read that this morning, and I came and I told my wife over a cup of coffee, and I'm going to cry about it right now. It may be just an application, but I said the Lord has sent us in to conquer these Lebanites, amen, for the gospel of Jesus Christ. Lebanon shall be ours. God moved us from Egypt to the promised land, church. He moved us to the promised land.
These people are genocidal. They are ready to literally murder anybody, whoever it takes, to spark Armageddon. That should disturb the fucking shit out of you. It certainly disturbs the shit out of me. These people are insane. Let's see. Give me a second here.
If all the reporters are at...
All right. There was a video. Oh, yeah.
We would...
Yeah. As if that's not enough to disturb the shit out of you, this is Shane Vaughn telling us who he is.
We would never be this defensive of Donald Trump if you would not have forced us into this cult mentality.
Yeah, it's my fault, you see. It's my fault that he is a cult member.
Yeah, we would now fight for Donald Trump. Why? We believe in justice. And when we see a man that God's put his hand on being attacked night and day, you are forcing us to look like a cult.
I'm not forcing you to do jack shit. You don't have to be a cult member. You could walk away from politics entirely, have nothing to do with it if you wanted, and you wouldn't look like a fucking cult member. You know, Shane Vaughn has responded to me personally before.
We're patient and steadfast in our support of a single man. We are cult followers. Yes, we follow a man. Yes, we do. We drank the Kool-Aid and it's orange.
Anyway, these people seriously need help. Seriously. How the fuck did we get here? Absolutely insane. Tell me what you think in the comments. All right, I guess I'm going to call that segment there. And let's see here. What else did Megyn Kelly talk about here, I wonder? 3146?
awful because you can't predict.
Arab. What do you make of the Iranians' response? 50 say Megan
Missiles, and they're now using.
Is there a better
Yeah,
shot?
it's all the Iran war. Okay. Let's cover this. Let me get some info on this dude first. I'm just trying to get some info on Joe Kent because he's all over the place at this immediate moment. Tucker Carlson just did an interview with Trump's counterterrorism director since the director left, Joe Kent. It's all over the place right now. It's a really big deal. So before we listen to it, let me just tell you who he is. He's a 45-year-old former Army Ranger, Special Forces veteran who served 11 combat deployments in the Middle East. His first wife was killed by an ISIS suicide bomber in Syria in 2019. Wow. He later became a MAGA political figure, a vocal proponent of Trump's 2020 election conspiracies, ran for Congress. Trump nominated him to serve as director of the National Counterterrorism Center, which he advises both Trump and the Director of National Intelligence on terrorism threats. He is also, he also has some notable baggage. Senator Patty Murray highlighted his past ties to far-right figures, including Nick Fuentes, calling him out for chumming it up with white supremacists. On Tuesday, March 17th, 2026, Kent posted his resignation letter on X, saying he cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran, and that Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it's clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. He's the highest level official to leave the Trump administration over the Iran war. Trump called Kent weak on security and said it was a good thing he resigned. Tucker Carlson interviewed him, so let's see what the interview contained.
We want to
actually let me pull it up in my in briefcase instead. Joe Kent and Tucker Carlson. Yeah. All right, there we are. Let's watch from here.
We want to start tonight with a clip from January of 2024. This is from this show, and this is Joe Kent, who later went on to become, until yesterday, the director of the National Counterterrorism Center. Here it is.
What do you think the immediate and then longer term effects of a war with Iran would be on the United States?
Immediately, it would be very bloody. I have no doubt that we could probably defeat some of their air defense and go in there and have another shock and awe campaign. But again, like we saw how the shock and awe campaign in Iraq really didn't actually work in the long run. So I have no doubt that we'd have some immediate results that people would cheer about here in the United States. But Iran, Persia has always been an empire. It's
honestly, this dude looks like he's 22.
Been around longer than any of the other players in the modern Middle East right now, and they are not going anywhere. If we get deeply involved and deeply entangled with Iran, we are playing right into China's hands, because China would like nothing more than for us to be committing our military industrial base to a war in Eastern Europe, in Ukraine, and then to be committing our conventional military power, our blood and our treasure back in the Middle East. That
completely agree. Absolutely. That is absolutely what China wants. They want us, the United States, to drain our resources of everything we have.
Will make the Pacific, our actual border, extremely vulnerable to Chinese aggression, or China will simply just watch us bleed out economically as we bleed out on the battlefield on these couple different theaters. It's absolute insanity. It's opening up Pandora's box. And again, for what gain to the American people?
So the very first thing you notice about that clip, which was shot almost exactly a year before the current president was inaugurated, is that it was right. It was prescient. He called it. He called the general outline. Not that it was hard to call, but Joe Kent knows what he's talking about. He spent a lot of his life in that region, and he said a year before this current presidency began, this is a big, serious country. It's the oldest civilization in the region, and if we went to war with Iran, there would be a momentary sugar high. Americans would support it because they support their own country, and they certainly support their military, and people would approve of it. But very quickly, you could see a process by which we got caught there, trapped there, bear trap. Hard to extricate yourself from that. And sitting on the sidelines would be our chief global competitor, China, who would be silently nodding along with a slowly spreading grin, knowing that they were the main beneficiary of what they were seeing, of our waste of American lives and treasure, as Joe Kent said. So we haven't reached that stage, thankfully. We're moving toward it, and everyone who's watching carefully knows that. And if you're honest, you know that. So this is a very serious moment we're in, and we're watching not just a war in Iran, but potentially a total realignment of the world and the loss, in some sense, of what the United States has globally. This could be the beginning of the end of our influence in a lot of the world.
Absolutely is. Yep. We were only influential because we had a lot of money, and we put so much money into soft power, and we're not doing any of that anymore. Trump has completely destroyed the United States, and I appreciate that people are starting to realize that now, but I want an apology. I don't want you to just realize that that's the case. I want you to apologize to everybody on the left.
Then that's just the beginning. So again, that's a big deal. It's starting to dawn on people, and that leaves Joe Kent as one of the relatively few people connected to this administration who said it in public. Is that good or bad? Well, it may seem good. Of course, you want to be around people who have clarity about what's going to happen next. But in practical terms, it's bad. In fact, it's always bad. Whenever you have somebody who stands up and says, don't do this, here's what could happen, and then you do it anyway, and it turns out that person was right, your first instinct is not to apologize and correct your behavior. Your first instinct is to crush the person who called it correctly. And that's your instinct because, and it's the lowest of all instincts, but it's a human instinct. That's your instinct because his correct prediction is an indictment of
prediction, huh? Okay.
You. Of course. And it's a way to deflect attacks on you and your own culpability by blaming the guy who told you it was going to happen before you did it. And this is a long-standing fact of human life. And in the last 60 years in this country, it has been the iron law of foreign policy, which is to say, when things go wrong, the only people who get punished are the people who criticized the adventure in the first place. You can imagine General Westmoreland attacking Walter Cronkite of CBS News, whatever you think of Walter Cronkite, in my case, not much. But fundamentally, it was Walter Cronkite sitting very much on the sidelines saying, hey, this war's not going well. And there was General Westmoreland prosecuting the war. But General Westmoreland argued till the end of his life, in some ways successfully, that he lost the war because Walter Cronkite criticized the war. Is that really true? How many troops did Walter Cronkite command? Was he in charge of strategy? Don't think so. He was a newsreader in New York.
That's interesting. That is an interesting kind of perspective on this. The general says he lost the war because we didn't have the public support for it. And the reporter says you lost the war because you're bad at strategy.
But you can see why.
Like, if you didn't have the public support for it, you shouldn't have gone to war in the first fucking place.
Westmoreland did that. Why a lot of people believed it, agreed with Westmoreland. You saw the same thing happen in the days after the tragic and incredibly stupid Afghan withdrawal under Joe Biden.
Oh, fucking please. It was Donald Trump's withdrawal. It was his plan. He wrote the plan up. Give it a rest. There was no good way to withdraw us from a 20-year war. What did you expect from people? What did you expect us to do? We should be proud and happy that the withdrawal took place, and I am.
That didn't help the United States. Of course, we had to get out of Afghanistan, but the way we did it, who would argue that was a good thing? It was a terrible thing and resulted in the deaths of a lot of Americans.
I argue it's a good thing that it happened in the first place. And it was Trump's plan. And it wasn't a bad plan overall. It wasn't Trump's plan. It was the plan drawn up by Trump's general under Donald Trump.
So who was punished for that? As far as we can tell, and we've checked, only one person. And that would be Colonel Stu Scheller of the United States Marine Corps. What was his crime? Planning the withdrawal from Afghanistan? Oh, no. No, Stu Scheller's crime was saying out loud, boy, that didn't work very well, and why'd we do this? And for that, he went to jail. The people who actually did it, who gave the orders, or who carried them out without asking questions about them, which was everybody else, they're fine. You don't even know their names, and they certainly haven't been penalized. So there is a long history, because this is a standing feature of the way people are, that you criticize those who told the truth and who were right, who called it ahead of time. Now, in a functioning society, you get a hold of yourself and you understand that people are like this. But if you want to be successful as a society, you have to restrain that impulse because it's low and it's counterproductive. And if you silence people who tell the truth, you end up making the same mistakes again and again and again. And maybe that's why we're here at this pivotal point in our war with Iran. So that's the first thing you notice. Joe Kent was right. Therefore, Joe Kent must be destroyed. And there is, of course, this ongoing effort to do that.
I don't know that there's an effort to destroy Joe Kent. I'm not even sure what he's talking about here, but okay, whatever.
Dismiss Joe Kent as a tool of the Islamists or a leaker, or say he's married to someone who works for Hezbollah, or lie after lie after lie. But they're all aimed at Joe Kent, the man, at his motives, at his character, at his personality, at his wife. And that's by design, because none of them touch on his reason for resigning as director of the National Counterterrorism Center. Because if you focused on that, you would have to answer his questions. You'd have to answer, is this true? Is what Joe Kent, who possessed highest level intelligence clearances, who was really barred from knowing no secret in the U.S. government since he was one of our top intelligence officials until yesterday? Seems like a pretty informed guy. Is what he's saying true? That's the last conversation anyone in Washington wants to have, so just attack him. And you're going to see a lot more of that. The people who said this war was a bad idea will be punished. And the more it turns out they were right, which is to say the worse this project goes, the more it becomes obviously counterproductive to American interests, the more vigorously they will be punished, unto and including jail. Stu Scheller went to jail. Probably not the only one who will going forward. So you should just know that and understand what you're seeing in those terms. The second thing that comes immediately to mind when you watch Joe Kent from January of 2024 talk about what would happen if we went to war with Iran is that what he said that day, a year before Donald Trump's inauguration, could have been said by Donald Trump, maybe with a different style. He was making Donald Trump's case, the case that Donald Trump has made for a very long time. Donald Trump, as everybody knows, became the Republican nominee in 2016, 10 years ago, in part because he was the only Republican running for president that year out of a field of nearly 20 people who was willing to say what everyone else knew but was afraid to say, which is the Iraq War didn't help us. It hurt us. It was a dumb idea, and it went on way too long. And it
no fucking shit.
Became the quagmire that people like Donald Trump predicted it would be. And the American public, so relieved to hear the truth about something they already knew, made him the Republican nominee despite maybe some concerns. But they did it because, hey, he was right, and he's the only one brave enough to say so.
Oh, please.
And Donald Trump made varieties of that case for the next 10 years, and in many cases specifically about Iran, because Trump has seen, long before most people in Washington, before almost anyone in Washington, the big picture, the outline, which is this is a contest between the United States in the West and China in the East, a rising power that matches or maybe exceeds our economic power globally. And we have to figure out how to apportion power. And we don't want to get sidetracked with engagements like, I don't know, another endless Middle Eastern war, because in the end, the only winner of that conflict is China. Is China in this specific case. Whoever in the end settles this conflict, whether it's the United States or some other power, whoever comes in at whatever the end of it is and says, enough, this is hurting the world. Each side has made its point, but the global economy has a critical interest in the Persian Gulf. That's energy. And we're going to stop this now. Whoever that person is will become more powerful than ever, and everyone else will become less powerful. The person who settles disputes is in charge.
I don't understand what the fuck he's even saying. Like, get to the point, Tucker.
The person who starts them, not the person who wins them, the person who stops them. When dad comes home and stops the fighting between brother and sister, who's in charge? Dad, because he stopped the conflict. All of which is to say, if at the end of this conflict, it's China that comes in, China which has a vested interest in what happens in the region since they're a major consumer of Gulf energy.
China is not going to come in and interfere in the conflict in Iran. That would be asking for trouble. That would be bad.
If it's China that comes in and restores the energy flows out of the Persian Gulf and restores some version of peace, gets the fighting to stop, then China is in charge of the Persian Gulf. That's just a fact of nature. And so a lot is at stake, as Joe Kent knew, as Donald Trump knew. And so the question is, how did Donald Trump, after 10 years of saying one thing, do in the pivotal act of his presidency exactly the opposite?
Oh, please, dude. Everybody knew this was happening. Everybody knew, except for your dumbass, apparently.
That's not just an academic question. It's not the beginning of a conspiracy theory about some shadowy lobby. It's the most important question we face, because this is not the first time the United States has entered into this kind of war against the wishes of its own population and in clear contravention of its own interests, against its interests. This isn't good for us. No one has made the case that it's good for us. And increasingly, as the days pass, it becomes obvious to everyone why it's not good for us. And if you don't believe that, then check the prices of food and fuel and everything you buy, because everything you buy is dependent on the price of energy and the production of fertilizer, both of which are affected almost immediately by the closure of the Straits of Hormuz. So we did this again. It's not exactly clear how or why we did this, but we need to find out. And there is great resistance to finding out. And you've noticed that in the last 36 hours since Joe Kent resigned as director of the National Counterterrorism Center, one of our top intel officials, because the attacks on him have prevented an honest conversation about what he's actually saying. And what he's saying is, and he says it clearly, and we're going to ask him about it directly in just a moment, Israel got us into this war. Its lobby in the United States pressured the president, and its prime minister in Israel told the president, we're going without you. Join us, because if you don't, your troops in the region, your interests in the region, your citizens in the region will all be at risk. You have no choice. They led the way. That's Joe Kent's position. And rather than push back against that and say, no, actually, he's wrong, they're telling you to shut up. And why are they doing that? Well, there's only one reason people ever become hysterical and slanderous, start screaming at you rather than
hysterical, huh? Okay.
Answering you. It's because they're lying. And the truth is, this is not the first time you've watched people in charge lie. This has been going on a long time. And lies give way to a whole bunch of bad things. More lies. Once you tell a lie, you bolster it with further lying. Hysteria, the fear of being caught lying. The rage and slander. If the person catches me lying, he wins in the zero-sum game of lying. I die. You go in the attack to cover your lies. And bad judgment. You can't make wise decisions on the basis of lies because they're not true.
I appreciate that Tucker is kind of revealing the strategy here. Like, you go on the attack to kind of defend yourself from the lies or whatever, to deflect from the lies.
They're not based in reality. That didn't actually happen. Or in this case, it did happen, but you're pretending it didn't. So a country based on lies like a family based on lies, like an individual life based on lies, cannot succeed. In fact, it's hellish, as all of us have experienced in our lying. And so the only way out of this is to stop lying, is to tell the truth now, probably 63 years after we should have started telling the truth, but it's never too late to tell the truth now about everything, because it's never as painful as you think it will be. It's actually an act of liberation. In fact, it's the only real act of liberation.
So you're glad to finally tell us the truth, huh, Tucker? Okay.
Telling the truth sets you free because the truth itself sets you free. That is always and everywhere a fact. And the longer you delay doing that, the more horrible the consequences of your lies. So let's hope that tonight, with this conversation with Joe Kent, is the beginning of the long overdue truth-telling, which is the only thing that will save this country. And one final note about Joe Kent, who I spent the last 24 hours with. Joe Kent's resume hardly needs explanation because everyone is aware this is a man who deployed on 11 combat missions to the global war on terror. This is sort of the perfect representation of the GWAT generation. This is one of those guys we often celebrate but too rarely hear from, who we sent out to fight the so-called war on terror that began on 9/11. And it's an entire generation of men who look and sound, for the most part, very much like Joe Kent. So the implication, of course, he doesn't care about security or he's soft on Iran. Joe Kent spent, well, the majority of his 20s and 30s fighting Iranian proxies and watching his friends get killed by them. So this is someone who has actually earned the right to speak about Iran.
Okay, enough fluffing. Just get to it.
And the war on terror. And of course, he was the director of the National Counterterrorism Center. So he's thought a lot about terrorism in this country and the blowback from events like this. And we're going to ask him about
He's
that
also,
as well.
I'm sorry.
But the other thing to
He's also a Nazi, for what that's worth.
Notice about Joe Kent, and it may be his defining factor, is that he doesn't slander anyone. His resignation letter was not an attack on Donald Trump. It wasn't a promise to write a tell-all memoir about what he saw on the inside or to aggrandize himself or to get a job on a TV show or sell something. I asked him at dinner last night, what are your plans? None. He did this purely because he believes, as he'll explain in a second, this is the only way to save the United States from certain disaster. Tell the truth. Air the secrets. Be honest for once in decades about what is actually happening, things that everybody who lives here suspects are happening. In some cases, we're probably wrong. We've come to the wrong conclusions. That's okay. Tell us what actually happened. Tell us why you did this. And let's reorient this country where it should be, which is around its own citizens. Make the decisions that you make based on one criterion. Is this good for my people or not? In the way that a father would lead his family or an officer would lead his troops. It's not complicated.
So a father should lead his family the same way that an officer leads his troops. Okay, go on.
Everybody wants that. That's not a partisan question. That's a human question. And that's the question Joe Kent is posing. Why can't we do this? Why can't we say this? It's not an attack on anybody. Joe Kent himself does not attack anybody. But this is a last-ditch attempt, not simply to save the country from disaster in Iran, but to save the country, period.
I'm sorry, 1 second. I'm just looking here. Hang on. I'm sorry. I'm going to let this play for just a second, okay? I'll be right back. I'm just going to... All right, 1 second.
And as you listen to him speak, ask yourself, is this a man who's working for Hezbollah, or is an egomaniac or a leaker, or is this a man who says very little when he has nothing to say, who speaks straightforwardly and with honesty, self-evident honesty? Is this a man of dignity and decency? Is this a man that America once had a lot of? Is this a man who was once, in effect, the American archetype, the guy you looked up to, the guy you wanted your son to be? Whether you agree with him or not, maybe you're reaching completely different conclusions. But as you listen to him speak, ask yourself, is this the kind of person who makes me proud to be a fellow American? Because it's really a referendum on us. If we can't see that Joe Kent, whatever you think of his opinions, is the kind of man this country should be producing and should be elevating and should be proud of, if we can't see that, then we've failed the test and we've lost. But judge for yourself. Here's Joe Kent. Joe, thanks a lot for joining us. I appreciate this. So I want to go through the letter that you sent yesterday as you resigned as director of the National Counterterrorism Center, and basically through the big points and give you a chance to explain them. You've been spoken for quite a bit over the last 24 hours, so I think it'd be really helpful to all of us if you would speak for yourself and flesh out some of these points. I'm just going to read the first one. I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation. How did you reach that conclusion?
I think this is key. I mean, this would be more challenging to explain had the Secretary of State, the President, and the Speaker of the House not come out and said that we conducted this attack at this time because the Israelis were about.
And as you listen to him speak, ask yourself, is this a man who's working for Hezbollah, or is an egomaniac or a leaker, or is this a man who says very little when he has nothing to say, who speaks straightforwardly and with honesty, self-evident honesty? Is this a man of dignity and decency? Is this a man that America once had a lot of?
Sorry, I just now realized I was muted. I'm sorry. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. Yeah, give me a second to just look at the Alex Jones thing here. Hold on 1 second. See if I can pull this up. Okay.
Improvised explosive device.
Apparently, Alex Jones went on Tim Pool's channel, like seemingly completely drunk. I want to see what happened here. Check this out.
And we know one of them was a man who yelled Allahu Akbar. The other attack on a synagogue, it is suspected to be Islamic terror. So the rumors going around are that we had 2 Islamic terror attacks, possibly retaliation over the war in Iran, which we had seen another terror attack in New York City, the throwing of an improvised explosive device, as well as the attack in Austin.
I'm not sure what he's referring to here. The only IED I'm aware of in New York City was the one made by Trump supporters, and they tried to use it on Mamdani.
So, of course, the expectation is, well, we don't have the complete information on the synagogue attack. It was a vehicle reportedly owned by a man from Lebanon who was naturalized and lived in Dearborn, Michigan. So many people are saying, hey, that, you know,
Many people are saying, okay.
If it looks and sounds like a duck. With that happening, We also have the backdrop of a warning from Joe Rogan, UFC commentator, who said that it seems strange. They're going to do this big White House UFC event, for which we now got the fight card in June, with a war going on, because you're going to bring everyone together and create this very, let's just call it centralized location of top military brass, political personalities, and otherwise. And, well, I agree. Not necessarily that it's weird or, strange or anything, but that it is dangerous. I mean, it's a real target. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, of course, we have these terror attacks that happened earlier today. We'll go through the details on that one. And then, of course, the UK is officially over. They have ended their hereditary House of Lords, and they are removing their civic leaders from their currency to be replaced by the noble hedgehog. And
okay.
Perhaps a beaver and other nature scenes, because
that means they're over because they're changing the way the currency looks.
The British tradition is basically gone. We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more, my friends. Before we do, get a great sponsor for you. It is Beam Dream. Head over to shop.
Okay. No, thank you, good sir.
Score went up like 4. Recommend.
I'm audible now, right? I just want to make sure that you can hear me now and everything's good.
And so much more is the great Alex Jones.
Oh, boy.
The great. Who are you? What do you do?
I was thinking about Joe Rogan's vagina right now.
He's what? I'm sorry? He's thinking about what? I'm sorry. What the? Okay, go on. You have my attention.
It's a weird way to introduce yourself, Alex.
Well, Joe's like, I love Joe, but like, oh my God, we better not have an event. The terrorists might get us. We just give up and go away. We can't ever have a meeting.
What's up? Hang on. Give me a second.
Because the Iranians might stick their ding-dong in us. I think Joe's afraid of the Iranian ding-dong.
You're a Joe Rogan commentator, professional?
No, I like Joe. I mean, a little bit, here. I'm surprised by Joe saying that. Like, oh, let's not have a UFC event.
Well, I don't
the
think
Iranians
he said
might get us.
it.
I mean, I'm against the war, let's be clear. But let's keep the buses and the trains and the airplanes on time.
Okay, sorry. Let's step back a little bit again. And 1, 2, 3. Probably there.
A Rogan commentator, professional?
No, I like Joe. I mean, a little bit, here. I'm surprised by Joe saying that. Like, oh, let's not have a UFC event.
Well, I don't
the
think
Iranians
he said
might get us.
it.
I mean, I'm against the war, let's be clear. But let's keep the buses and the trains and the airplanes on time. Let's not the fucking Iranians might get us. So
he's already swearing.
I'm already swearing. Got to follow every little AI rule. No, here's the deal. Let's all just hide in Joe Rogan's vagina, and then we'll all be safe.
Jesus. Good to have you, Alex.
Like
It's
a
gonna be fun.
mothership,
We can already
giant
tell.
Joe Rogan vagina.
Luke is sitting
and we
next
all
to
just
him.
fly up into it. And we're all safe.
I'm so confused by what's happening right now.
Safe in Joe
Thanks for coming. Luke.
What an introduction. How
You're
do I top
dancing
that?
like safe under her black wings. I'm safe in Joe Rogan's big ass pussy vagina.
I'm just confused. I just don't understand what's going on.
Well, there you go.
Like that? Yep.
Luke's here.
There's that. Yes. I don't know how
Thought
you
you'd have that tonight.
Good to be here with some old
I
friends.
declare war on Joe Rogan. God has ordered me. Nah, I love Joe. It's a joke.
He's going to show up at your house.
Okay, I guess Luke's here.
Yeah, hi guys. YouTube.com.
In fact, how about I just take you all on right now? You guys are fucking tough.
He's definitely drunk, right? This is Alex Jones drunk off his fucking ass.
You guys, you're pretty tough. How about we just fucking fight right now? You're fucking real men. All of you. Come on, let's go. Every one of you. Let's go. Let's prove how fucking badass you are.
He is absolutely drunk.
Slug, let's go. You think you can fucking take me? Let's see what happens.
I don't think I can take you.
No, you can. Why don't you fucking do it right now? Every fucking man in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's go. 8. Let's go.
Robbie will fight you.
What would you do in this situation? I have no idea what I would do. Alex Jones, drunk as a fucking skunk on my podcast. What does one do about that? He is in a fucking pickle right now.
I'm ready.
Robbie,
I'm ready. That's a big motherfucker over there. I'm ready for war. I'm ready for war. I'm ready to live in Joe Rogan's vagina.
Let's start with the news. I guess.
Hey, I just gave you the most viral clip of the year to joke.
You're trying to.
It's comedy. I love Joe.
Yes.
I suck his pussy every night.
It's just that.
And Lindsey Graham, when he puts that foot long dick.
Why? Please, no. Why is this happening? Why am I listening to this? I don't understand. It's a fictional scenario that is literally not physically possible, but it's so fucking disturbing still. Oh my God, please, no. I feel like Michael Scott from The Office screaming no over and over again.
Right in Trump's ass, that big old neocon. I just sit there and lube it up.
Just gonna get the show taken down.
I'm like the engineer. I'm like,
get the show taken
Lindsay,
down.
Oh, Lindsay, and I watch like Rubio gets in, and then in comes Huckabee with his 12-foot. And they just boom, boom. And I'm just sitting there like,
Huckabee's that hung, huh?
That's what I do. Oh, God, Huckabee's got an 18-foot dick. And I just lube up those cocks, those neocon cocks, and then y'all comes in with that 80-footer.
I imagine.
Just cures Trump.
I imagine Huckabee's watching being like, I'm kind of offended, but that is a compliment. Let's go to the news.
I am fucking horrified by what I just listened to. What is happening? Why? I don't understand.
Let's start the news. All right, here's the story. Here's the story from the Daily Mail. Joe Rogan fears White House will be targeted by Iran during UFC event. We have a short.
This is absurd. There is no chance this is happening. It's fear-mongering garbage. It would be the biggest mistake Iran ever made to attack America right now. I believe that they learned from 9/11. That's what happens when you attack the United States. You galvanize people against you. So no one is going to do that. But, okay.
Clip for you. It's only 40 seconds, but we'll play it to give you the context of what Joe was talking about.
Yeah. Are you excited for the White House card? That looks really good.
Yes. I'm excited. It sounds crazy. I know it's going to be very high security and high stress and weird to have a fight at the White House in the middle of a fucking war. But I would hope the war will be sorted out by June, but quite honestly, I'm not confident that that's going to be the case.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, so that would be weird.
Yeah.
Having this very high-profile event where everybody's in one place at one time right there.
I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
So you're not excited to be there?
Well, that seems like
it
seems like you're asking for.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that at all.
How could you not think of that?
Well, because I'm not going to be there. You're the one that has to think of it.
Because Joe Rogan is the goddess, his holy vagina. Really?
I don't understand what his focus is and why it's on that of all things. This is just so weird.
It's a threat.
I am not really concerned about the White House itself. You know, of all the places we secure in this country, Iran's not going to do anything at the White House.
Yeah, no, I love Joe, but I mean, that is a major pussy statement.
He didn't say don't do it. He just said that it's going to be a target, and sure, it's just look. If Iran was going to
the real target is the neocons in Trump's butthole.
No.
Well, they're like, that's the main target. Is like,
well, I mean,
Trump is a target.
Iran would much prefer to get rid of the neocons that are pressuring Trump to engage in war.
You know about Pastor Manning, right? The fiery butthole, right?
The what?
Burn, 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 burn.
I know.
He is fucking so drunk right now. He is out of his fucking gourd at the moment.
Yep, pull up Pastor Manning. It's a prophecy of Trump.
What's his name?
The prophecy.
He's talking about, yeah, I know this. I know this, actually. Hang on. Let me find it.
But
yeah, I think, is this what he's referring to?
But I see this, as many of the elders have discussed, as just more of an opportunity for us to get more press and to get more coverage to explain our position and as to who we are. Right now, the articles are jumping all over the place. I've gotten calls from everybody about this, the news organization. In fact, can I share this with you, to all the sodomites that think that you're going to purchase this church in a foreclosure sale? Let me tell you something. before you can ever own the Lord's house, because that's what this is.
That's right.
That this is the Lord's house. This ain't no damn bathhouse.
That's right.
This ain't no fag house. This is the Lord's house.
Amen.
And before you can ever own this property, hook or crook to own this property, you will be men who are fags with testicles will be carrying babies in their testicles and giving birth to them through their anus. That's how impossible it is for you to get this house.
That's right.
This is Pastor Manning. And as you can see, I don't even know what to say next. I'm so fucking lost and confused, and I don't even know. All right.
When you start carrying a baby in your bags and birthing that baby through your ass, then...
Anyway, that's Manning. I think that's who Alex Jones is talking about. I'm just so goddamn confused by literally everything that has happened in the past 20 minutes. What the hell is going on, right?
See if Trump?
I just had to have some fun. I'm sorry. I apologize. It's all humor. I love Joe Rogan. I love President Trump. My bottom line is this. You said start the show right before we went live with, I love Rogan. Oh my God, this event, maybe we shouldn't have it. What the fuck are we talking about? If we're gonna...
You're not supposed to swear on Tim Pool's thing, I believe. You're supposed to avoid harsh language. And he just doesn't even care.
Blow the shit out of the fucking mullahs. Let's not worry about what they're going to do. Let's not cancel our boxing match. So I
agree.
But I mean, I get he's just being honest here. I'm being with Joe. I love Joe. All I'm saying is that I was against this war 12 days ago, and I said it's going to go wrong. They're going to block us straight our moves. But I said once we're in it, because the mullahs are crazy or double down. Now they've done it. Now we stuck our wiener in the electric socket.
We did what?
So now we are committed, baby.
Yeah.
I'm not concerned.
And there's now multiple reports of 2 ceasefires that Donald Trump tried to do with the Iranians, and the Iranians are saying, nope, we're not doing any of that.
Well,
complete bullshit. Fabricated from the ground up. These people lie like they fucking breathe. You're trying to tell me that Iran refused a ceasefire with the United States? Withdraw the fucking troops. It's that simple. Withdraw the troops. Then they can't continue fighting. What do you mean he wanted a ceasefire with Iran? What? All right, give me a second.
Yeah. Because the strategy, the Iranian strategy is that Trump is politically vulnerable in a midterm year.
Yeah.
They said they're autocratic. They can do whatever they want and they can just wait. And so the reported strategy is they'll take as much collateral damage as they have to because Trump is losing political points at home among moderates.
Because they're crazy Shiites, exactly.
Yeah, right.
And so now they're in the drop, even though they're losing, being blown up politically and physically, they don't care because they're willing to die. Like, I'm not comparing to Colonel Travis because they were the good guys, but they're willing to die, so they were the winners. Everybody loves the people that get sacrificed. So Iran is crazy, willing to do it. So what do we do now when they close the strait, which is done? And then what do we do when they keep doubling down and say, fine, hit me again?
Yeah, they're religiously, fundamentally fighting for life and death. Yeah. They understand, hey, we have to survive.
Their whole thing is about this coming.
Exactly. And then the new Ayatollah is even talking about the prophecies of Armageddon, and we have other Israeli top politicians, even Pete Hegseth talking about the Third Temple when he was in Israel. So all of these kind of like religious prophecies and zealots coming out and saying, bring it on.
Huckabee, the Israeli ambassador to the U.S., saying, yeah, Israel takes it all.
Huckabee is
takes all of what?
All the Middle East.
Yeah.
Well, Bibi just said
he's a U.S. ambassador. I call him the Israeli ambassador.
Yeah. Do you know Abe Lincoln was dealing with this? He had a midterm coming up, or he had an election coming up with the anti-war Democrats were going to get into power and end the Civil War in a stalemate. So he was like, we have to do something drastic because we may lose our power. He issued Sherman to just burn everything and kill as many people as possible to end the war as fast as possible. So worst case scenario, you see hell on earth be unleashed on the Iranian people before the midterms. I don't want to see it, but I mean,
Trump said that. He said, I may destroy your whole country. They're like, well, I thought we're trying, half of them don't want to be with us. It's a disaster. That's why the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, look, I'm not a rocket scientist, but Eric Prince, a Major Hawk, said don't do it. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Kane, said don't do it because it's a roll of the dice. You don't roll dice on stuff. You roll dice on your own money. You don't do it on stuff like this.
Well, you heard what Rubio said about why we got involved. Israel was going to make an attack on Iran. We knew that there would be a retaliation targeting the United States. So Rubio says we don't want to take a defensive posture, so we decided.
Okay, I need to go do something. Oh my God, dude, Jesus Christ. My whole thing came out. There we are. I need to go pick up Alpha Force Zero from school. It's only 5 minutes away. So I'm going to let this continue to play. And I'm going to go get her. And I'll be back in just a minute. It won't be too long. All right, I'll be right back. Don't leave us with him. I'm sorry. It'll only be like 10 minutes at most.
I mean, he's the U.S. ambassador. I call him the Israeli ambassador.
Yeah. Do you know Abe Lincoln was dealing with this? He had a midterm coming up, or he had an election coming up with the.
You know, maybe I shouldn't leave you with him. Maybe I should play something different. It's got some pretty strong language. All right, I'm gonna let it go. I'll be back.
The anti-war Democrats were going to get into power and end the Civil War in a stalemate. So he was like, we have to do something drastic because we may lose our power. He issued Sherman to just burn everything and kill as many people as possible to end the war as fast as possible. So worst case scenario, you see hell on earth be unleashed on the Iranian people before the midterms. I don't want to see it, but I mean,
well,
that's
Trump said that. He said, I may destroy your whole country. They're like, well, I thought we're trying, half of them don't want to be with us. It's a disaster. That's why the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, look, I'm not a rocket scientist, but Eric Prince, a Major Hawk, said don't do it. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Kane, said don't do it because it's a roll the dice. You don't roll dice on stuff. You roll dice on your own money. You don't do it on stuff like this.
Well, you heard what Rubio said about why we got involved. Israel was going to make an attack on Iran. We knew that there would be a retaliation targeting the United States. So Rubio says we don't want to take a defensive posture, so we decided to go in with them. And
which they had testimony in Congress 2 days ago confirming that.
Yeah.
So Israel made us do this. I don't. You know me. I'm not the guy with a hard on for Israel, but Israel should not be calling our shots.
Agreed. And I think Trump should have been like, "Good luck."
Yeah, because if they'd responded and attacked us, then we could have been like, "Hey, we have no choice now."
Exactly.
But this makes us look like an aggressor.
Exactly. We should have taken the attack. Then we'd be the victims. Then blow the shit out of them. Exactly.
It's not, you know, and there's the challenge, right? Because that's, and you know this better than anybody, but the Project for a New American Century, when they, who was it who said that?
April 2020, we need a Pearl Harbor event to launch the New American Empire.
And then there was the quote that I think it might have been Rumsfeld saying, sometimes we need a terror attack to remind people of what we're protecting them from.
He said we need 3,000 dead.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, which is Pearl Harbor, which they had on 9/11.
Yeah.
And that's the challenge. I mean, if we did nothing and Iran attacked us, then we'd go in. And what Rubio said was then we'd be in hearings talking about how we knew it was going to happen and we didn't do anything to prevent it.
Well, I'll be honest. If there was a magic red button to send the Muslims to Mars, I'd hit it. But every time we do this, they just put the head of Al-Qaeda, before Trump got in charge of Syria. Israel created Hamas. So here's the deal. If we were actually fixing it, I'd be for it. Islam's cancer, but we don't fix it. We put worse Muslims in.
And we finance and we train them and we give them arms and we give them weapons and we give them the training and then it bites us in the butt. And it's like, what did we think was going to happen here? Israel even came out today and they're saying that this regime is unlikely to fall. Obviously, everyone knew this was going to happen. The war games were there too.
They gave the report a week before.
Yep.
And I was called a Qatari agent for reading the report that admitted this.
Yeah.
I have got no money from Qatar. I'm waiting for the money right now.
There's also rumors that the son of the Ayatollah is already dead.
Yeah.
I think he's in a coma at least. Because the Israelis have not lied about who they killed.
But the rumors in Israel is that he's dead.
Well,
and there's just no official reporting.
There's one thing Israel tells the truth about is who they killed. They said we killed the Ayatollah a week and a half ago. It was true. And they said this guy's in a coma. I believe it.
So it's Israel saying he's in a coma.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
All right. Well, there was rumors last week. We had talked about it that he got wounded. He's fine. Then they said they amputated his leg. He didn't show up for his own coronation ceremony or whatever. Now they're saying he's in a coma. I would not be surprised if in 2 or 3 days they're like, yeah, he's dead. And the reason
I think he probably is dead.
I don't know for sure, but I think they do have good reason strategically.
Well, they dropped 30,000-pound bombs on you. Probably.
Right. But the Iranian government's not going to want to admit that the United States has repeatedly just killed all of its leaders, its new leader, and wiped out their government. That and the people might actually revolt and the chain of command breaks down. So they're going to say, no, he's alive. Here's his statement to keep the confidence going that they exist, to try and outlast Trump, because Trump's politically vulnerable right now.
And now,
but I think it'll be concluded in a few weeks if Trump really does escalate bombing campaigns. And that doesn't mean we win. It doesn't mean the government is over. What I'm saying is we may stop striking, they may stop striking, but nothing may be resolved.
No, I mean, I agree with that. But here's the deal. I want an exit strategy here. And I would love to get rid of the Middle East. I said when it started 12 days ago, I said, it started, I think it's not going to work. I hope they fail. I hope they fall right now. But it didn't happen. I'm not a rocket scientist. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs and all the other reports told him it probably wouldn't work.
Yeah.
And my listeners are like, you're a Qatari agent. No, like the Pentagon said, don't do it. Because it's a roll of the dice. It didn't work.
What's up with all this, like, the Israel stuff?
That's retarded. I've never been to Israel, nothing to do with Israel. Anytime I'm like, people are like, it rained today, Israel did it. I'm like, well, no, it's just, it's like.
You know, the reason I ask you is because you've got more experience in the independent media space, particularly when it comes to government conspiracy, psychological operations, and all that. And, you know, you've been here longer than anybody else. And then all of a sudden, over the past 6 months, there's been this dramatic shift online where now everyone's just talking about Israel doing everything all the time. Like, all the conspiracy stuff that you've talked about when it comes to liberal economic order, you know, Project for a New American Century, all that is just gone now. No one cares. None of that exists. It's just Israel did it.
It's because Qatar doesn't lie about it. They spend like $20 million a year on this. And so it doesn't mean that stuff about Israel isn't true. They have changed the whole subject into that instead of China and the EU trying to censor Americans. So I like, hey, the EU's trying to arrest Elon Musk with huge fines. Or Brazil, shut up Israel. So it's kind of like a public woke up like a baby duck, kind of imprints on the first thing it sees. So the public woke up, and so the Muslim Brotherhood, which Qatar funds, said, oh, the first thing you see is Israel, which Israel deserves in many ways, but it's also retarded because now the baby duck woke up and all it sees is Israel.
Yeah.
And so it's retarded.
Yeah, the conversation I often have about it is that, like, certainly criticize Israel for their machinations and whatever they're trying to do, but there's a whole bunch of other foreign policy and special interests around the world that the U.S. is involved in that has nothing to do with the Middle East.
Well, exactly. I'll cover China running like half the Democrats with proof, and half the comments are, why covering up for Israel? It's like they don't. I cover like, literally like there were fires and floods in Texas a few months ago, and half the comments were, why cover for Israel? There's like can't cover a flood, can't cover a fire, can't cover. It's just Israel, because it's all they know, and they think that's the secret thing. That's the special little treat.
I think social media is doing it on purpose. And the reason people think this is because it's being blasted into their feeds 24/7, which triggers other people to blast it
I
out.
agree. The system wants this clash. That's what I explained.
Well, they want to divide and conquer people. They want people fighting each other based on superficial differences. The first thing I kind of think about here is Cass Sunstein, Obama's information czar. He literally wrote the white paper on disinformation, and he talked about how he needed to hijack legitimate criticism by making it seem crazy. He literally wrote the book. He was also connected to Epstein, too.
He said we'll discredit it.
He'll discredit it by putting out fake actors out there that will make theories that sound really crazy, so you destroy any kind of legitimate criticism or question.
And then Nick Fuentes, who's critical of Israel, is banned from YouTube, and Candace Owens has put up on the front page.
Yeah. Well, but here's my deal. People ask why I attack Candace Owens. She says ice melts at 30 degrees. And she says, I'm a time traveler. I mean, it's just like...
Charlie was a time traveler.
Yeah, he was a time traveler. Exactly. I'm just like... I'm not even saying I trust TPUSA. I'm not saying there's not a cover-up of Charlie Kirk, but I cannot buy Mitch Snow with a hammer, convicted of beating his wife with a hammer, and then he puts the story out, she attacked me with a hammer, and Candace goes with it and raises him $200,000. And I'm just like, I'm not going to lie. Like, it's just crazy.
Let's jump to this story. We got this video that's going viral from Mario Nawfal. He says, Netanyahu, quote, we will make it to the return of the Messiah, but this will not happen next Thursday. And so this video has been making the rounds, of course, since it got 400,000 views. And there was an article written a few days ago, Israel is gripped by messianic fervor for a biblical war. Now, there's another video that's massively going viral where everyone's saying that he said return of the Messiah, as if to imply he believes in Jesus Christ. When you actually...
No, he's Jewish Messiah.
No, it says return. The Jews believe the Messiah has not come. So if Netanyahu says the return of the Messiah, that means he thinks the Messiah has already been here.
Did he say that?
So here's what I've found in the transcript. When you ask for a translation through Grok or whatever, it says in Hebrew, in what he is speaking, it can be paraphrased either way, as in the era of the Messiah or the return of.
Well, David was the Messiah, so he returns under the Jewish law.
They do believe that David was a Messiah.
He was the art. Yeah, he was the precursor.
I thought they haven't had their Messiah yet.
No, but it's all. David was the Messiah. He returns.
Well, either way, that is a component of why people have been sharing this clip quite a bit. But this plays into one of the theories. It's kind of interesting. This video is coming out now. There are a lot of people that are suggesting.
No, I haven't seen this yet.
Oh no,
I'm
I mean,
saying if you actually study the Old Testament, everything's a precursor. So
yeah.
David is the precursor to the Messiah.
Yeah, it says that the Messiah will come from David's family line.
Yeah.
Well, so then again, my understanding is that return
so
of
return,
is just
he means
translation.
The return of David.
So indeed, what's
By the way,
interesting about this
the
is
star. Anyway, sorry.
The reason why this is picking up steam is that one of the theories amongst those who believe Israel runs everything is that they're trying to make everyone hate them, because they have to go to war with the world in order to trigger the return of their Messiah. So if there really is this, as this article said, messianic fervor, and then you get Netanyahu literally saying we will make it to the return of the Messiah, but not by next Thursday, a lot of people are jumping on this and saying, straight from the man's mouth, they are doing a lot of this.
I think that it's not all the Jews, but certainly there's different Jewish interests that get, when they're attacked, they get more power. Netanyahu has been indicted. Netanyahu would be in jail right now. And so...
Why isn't he?
By him being under attack, he stays in power. So I'm not going to judge him. His weird Supreme Court battles. It's all so confusing. See, I just say I do the answers. It's so confusing. I don't know. But definitely they are invoking this messianic stuff.
Yeah. Do you think he's like creating war to stay in power? I mean, I'm not saying you're saying this, but that he would be creating war to stay in power.
No, he said like 3 years ago, or 2 years ago, when they did October 7th, he said, we'll look at why there was a stand down later once the war's over, but the war never ends.
Yeah. Wars are meant to be continued, and there's a lot of soldiers that are literally talking about this being a holy war for them, so they could bring in the third temple. Albert Pike talked about a lot of this stuff. 1871, he wrote a letter about World War III, and it's absolutely crazy.
1871, he wrote about World War III.
Yes.
What? So he knew they were going to be the first two. He didn't tell anybody about it.
No, he talked about World War I. He talked about World War II, and then he talked about World War III, and he talked about the Jews fighting the Muslims in this world that will bring in the demon. Will bring in the kind of demonic order. So this is. I mean, I've been talking about this for about 12 years. I did a video with David Icke about this.
I'm sorry, real quick, just don't forget what you're going to say. Albert Pike's statue was torn down by anti-racism protesters in the George Floyd riots.
Of course, not a surprise there at all. But a lot of people believe that this is prophecy being kind of that we're kind of living through this as it's being played out right in front of our eyes.
Is the demon the AI technocratic overstate?
Who knows?
Well, you were advocating for it yesterday, Ian.
And that's my point, is that
AI judges?
I literally don't hate Jews. Like, I don't sit there with a big heart on and like I fall on a banana peel playing Jews. But now Israel is literally every step you can to make it all about Israel, which is not. It's China and the EU and all these powers, and it's just like constantly, oh, we're here. No, we're the. It's like I'm smart enough to go like, what's going on here? Like
every country has their own interests, and people that think that everything is about Israel they're totally overlooking the fact that every country has their own interests. They have their own agency, and they have their own plans. There are times where like the U.S. interests and Israel's overlap, but it doesn't mean that Israel's in control of everything.
But to that point, I agree. I understand what you're saying, Alex, that they are trying to take the spotlight in all of these affairs.
Exactly. Israel wants the attack because then there are people who get behind them. So it's not like Israel's involved in all the bad stuff, but they're like, okay, we'll be the villain. It's just like I'm just like.
I actually think if you take a look at the latest media moves over the past several months, like the purchase of CBS and TikTok, there is a what did you used to call it, Alex? Problem, reaction, solution. So whether
Larry Ellison buying it up.
Whether it's intentional or otherwise, you have this burst of anti-Israel and, quite honestly, a lot of anti-Semitic content. Then this triggers prominent, wealthy millionaires and billionaires, Jewish and otherwise, to buy up these platforms to ban that content. So, in essence, by by having this large burst of anti-Semitic or anti-Israel content, you then create the circumstances by which you can get powerful interests to shut those things down completely.
100%. You just said it. And I don't know what the end game is. I'm just like, I'm against Israel trying to start a nuclear war, but I'm also not against Israel. I'm just like, man, I'm done. Like, I'm like, this is above my
I'm fairly
pay grade.
ambivalent. Foreign affairs is foreign affairs to me. It's crazy to me that there are people hyper for and against. No, I understand why people would be for it, especially if you're Jewish and you're Israeli. But the fact that there are so many people in the United States who are for and against it who are neither, that's strange to me. Yeah. I'm like, we can talk about China all day.
But you now see how Iran, because they're willing to kill their own people. 2 days ago, I said Iran is belligerent. They're emboldened. It's like, oh, you're a Qatari agent. I haven't got the check yet. My point was they don't care. They're willing to die. So I'm saying, like, what do you do when you're faced with this?
Yeah.
Like, this is cuckoo town. Like,
well, I have a question for you because again, I think you'd know this better than most people, but we've talked about the U.S. motivations for going against Iran, and it largely has to do with the Strait of Hormuz, the 20% of oil and gas flowing through from the Gulf states, and the U.S. maintaining its economy on the petrodollar. So my position, my view of this is the U.S. looks at Iran as a disruptor of international oil trade, for which we tell our customers, you use dollars to buy oil, we'll police the seas. Iran tells us to shove off, funds militias, Houthi rebels, they bomb cargo ships. So the U.S. says this has to stop. I'm curious if you agree or how do you see it?
No,
Like,
that's it. I mean, that's it. And my point is, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs told Trump, they've got a whole army right there. Even if we blow them up, they can block the strait. And that's 25% of the oil. So it creates a crisis. Trump's like, well, we'll fix it in a year. Yeah, a year. Trump's whole plan to fix inflation is based on cheap energy. So this messes him up. So he's not thinking. That's why he's suddenly like, oh, God, in the war. Oh, God, yeah, which I agree with. Like, yeah, dude, this ain't like just blow some stuff up. So again, I actually wish the Muslims would all go away. I want Israel to be free. I'm not even. My sick thing is, I get nothing by being nice to Israel. I'm not. I've never been to Israel. I'm not in Israel's team. But I don't want to blow up the Jews. I don't want to blow up Israel. I'm just like, stop using us in these wars to expand your power. And then Israel's like, oh, Greater Israel. I saw these clips like, we're gonna take over the whole Middle East. And I'm just like, with us paying for it. So I'm like, you're making me come out against you. Stop it. That's where I'm at with Israel. It's like, stop. It's crazy.
Well, the problem is, if we want to maintain the petrodollar, which puffs up our economy, we have to force everybody in line, and this is why you get these regime change wars. Yeah. It's why
I agree, but we already have that all in line. Israel,
well, not with Iran,
has already defeated all its enemies. Like when they were attacking the last few years, I'm like, great, Israel defeated, the Lebanon, the Hamas, in Gaza. Great, that just adds to megalomania. So, see, they've already beat all their enemies. Did you see the Israeli former prime minister said, well, when we're done with Iran, Turkey's next. Turkey has the biggest military in Europe. Israel's now saying, we're ready, Turkey.
Turkey's also a member of NATO, which, I mean, I personally, I'm not a fan of Turkey being in NATO, but, like, if Israel
I'm not a fan of Turkey either, but, like, now Israel wants us to...
I'm actually a big fan of Turkey.
That ain't happening.
They got great baklava. They got these things called Islak burgers. They're lamb burgers that you dip in like an oily tomato sauce.
I'll never forgive
the Turkish government. We can complain about.
Well,
I'll
never forgive him for giving us. You saw this
Piker.
on Fox News, and you saw Rupert Murdoch actually through all the kind of news organizations push. We have to go to Turkey. Turkey's a threat. Turkey's not agreeing. Turkey's not playing.
The Bosphorus is extremely important.
Yeah, so they already have a new enemy. It's like
the U.S. has to get out of NATO.
It's like, now we're going to fight the biggest army in Europe.
But guys, think of all the Turkish delight we'd get.
Like I said,
no, we wouldn't. We would bomb the crap out of them, and there'd be no delights for anybody. It would be nothing.
They're the biggest army in Europe.
Yeah, and then Pakistan also is another.
Why is Israel? Their former prime minister, they're on TV. Turkey, you're next. It's like because he's like, fine, Israel. I'm not against Israel, but if you want to kill yourself, go fight this dude. But it's like Mike Tyson. I'm like an 80-pound dude. Like Mike Tyson, I'm gonna kick your ass. Turkey has this giant military and. Israel knows we're going to back them.
No way,
dude.
No way not.
Not against a NATO member.
Yeah, it's not.
Well, you saw the push. Israel's teeing Turkey up.
For sure. But that they're going to find the line.
Yeah.
Well, Bibi just announced today that Israel isn't just going to be a regional power, but a global superpower.
Okay, I'm back. How psychotic did it get? Pretty bad. Okay, what's up? I guess, if you want. Alrighty. Let's continue. Wow, this is full of crazy stuff. Go ahead and flip. I'm going to stop recording and then start recording again. Give it just a second here. Hold on. All right, camera is active. Just a second here. I'm just trying to pull everything up. Sorry for the wait. Okay, you're unmuted.
Okay, hi chat. I'm here now. I was in chat, but now I've magically appeared here. Isn't that so great? Don't you guys just love when that happens? When you appear on your streamer's stream magically? Oh my god, I can't pull up. I can't pull up YouTube because my mouse is upstairs and I really truly don't feel like going to grab it.
It's fine, go ahead.
No, I don't feel like it. It would be fine. I just really don't feel like doing that.
Real fast, before I start recording, I'm actually going to transfer files over. So you should be able to hear me still, I believe. Just going to take me a second to transfer the files over. Finalize set. Yes, proceed. I'm going to transfer the files over, and then I'm going to insert a new SD card, and hopefully this one is going to work. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm going to pull you guys up on my phone. So I will be able to see you, but you're just going to be over here.
I'm surprised there is no mouse over here.
Well, we had enough trouble finding the mouse that I use in the first place.
I'm not sure where my little keyboard is. My little keyboard / mouse. Oh, it's right there.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Okay. I can see chat now.
Still transferring 7 of 8 files.
Oh, and I can see myself. That's so cute. This is so great.
You can see yourself?
Yeah, because I'm on the stream. Yeah, I came home because I was really not having it. It was not a good situation, not a good day. But I'm here now, and I was actually, when I was in the guidance counselor's office, I was shaking, and on my way there I was hyperventilating. And I was watching this stream, and I just chilled out, and I wasn't hyperventilating, wasn't shaking, because I was on the stream, because he has healing properties.
What?
Yep.
I just slapped it on the desk, lifted my finger, and it's no longer on the desk. What happened? Oh, it slid under. That was bizarre. That was supernatural.
Guys, he just made a thing disappear, so he has so many supernatural abilities. It's impressive. Sounds like a bit of an anxiety attack. I took my anxiety medication right before that happened though, so probably 10 minutes before. So I don't, unfortunately I don't think my father is the one that cured me. I think it was my anxiety medication that I brought to school. But yeah, I chilled out. It wasn't even just one thing either. I also had people angry with me, for a completely separate thing. And
all right, I'm going to start recording now. All right, I think we are good, and hopefully it will work.
Okay, cool.
All right, do you want to watch the thing?
Yep.
Awesome. I think I already gave an intro to this. We're not that far in. We're only... Wait, markers, current position. What happened to my monitor? My monitor is off. That's weird. And not good.
By Irish time, your school day is done. Because it's 5:18 p.m. By my time, my school day would be done in 1 hour. When this first started, it was still like 2 or 3 hours away.
Sorry, my monitor turned off, and I don't know why. Hang on. I believe it's this.
The guidance counselor, I went and I talked to her, and I was like, yeah, this is what's happening right now. Like, I'm not really, like, I don't think that I can chill out. And she's like, okay, we're gonna send you home, actually. Let me just call in the assistant principal. The assistant principal talked to me and then was like, hey, we're gonna call Dad and see if he can come get you. We're gonna send you home now. All right. I guess. Honestly, that was probably the best decision. I changed.
It's working. Nope, it's not working now. Okay, now it's good.
Yay.
I think we're good. All right. You want to watch?
Yeah.
Sweet. Alex Jones appeared on Tim Pool's show or whatever, and he was drunk. The dude was straight up drunk. Let's give this a listen. It's insane.
I mean, he's the U.S. ambassador. I call him the Israeli ambassador.
Yeah. Do you know Abe Lincoln was dealing with this? He had a midterm coming.
He's dressed like Slash from Guns N' Roses. Why? You can't hear it? She had a problem with that same thing.
Or he had an election coming up with the anti-war Democrats were going to get into power and end the Civil War in a stalemate. So he was like, we have to do something drastic because we may lose our power. He issued Sherman to just burn everything and kill as many people as possible to end the war as fast as possible. So
talking about Sherman's march, are you familiar?
I don't think so.
Sherman was a general in the Civil War, and he basically went on a march to the sea, famously, from the north to the south, and tore up roads, destroyed civilian infrastructure, ruined everything, so that it would be difficult or impossible for the South to transport goods or anything like that. And it's viewed as one of the integral parts necessary for the success of the North, but also a war crime that we would never, ever do today because it's evil to destroy civilian infrastructure.
Right.
And I can only assume this guy is saying that's what we need to do, destroy civilian infrastructure, right?
War in a stalemate. So he was like, we have to do something drastic because we may lose our power. He issued Sherman to just burn everything and kill as many people as possible to end the war as fast as possible. So worst case scenario, you see hell on earth be unleashed on the Iranian people before the midterms. I don't want to see it, but I mean, that's...
yeah, I bet. I don't want to see it, I'm sure.
Trump said that. He said, I may destroy your whole country. They're like, well, I thought we're trying... Half of them don't want to be with us. It's a disaster.
Do you want to turn your camera a bit? You're pretty far to the right. A little more. All right. That'll do. Perfect.
That's why the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, like, I'm not a rocket scientist, but Eric Prince of Major Hawk said don't do it. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Kane, said don't do it because it's a roll the dice. You don't roll dice on stuff. You roll dice on your own money. You don't do it on stuff like this.
Well, you heard what Rubio said about why we got involved. Israel was going to make an attack on Iran. We knew that there would be a retaliation targeting the United States. So Rubio says we don't want to take a defensive posture, so we decided to go in with them. And
which they had testimony in Congress 2 days ago confirming that.
Yeah.
So Israel made us do this. I don't. You know me. I'm not the guy with a hard on for Israel, but Israel should not be calling our shots.
Agreed. And I think Trump should have been like, good luck.
Yeah, because if they'd responded and attacked us, then we could have been like, hey, we have no choice now.
Exactly.
But this makes us look like an aggressor.
Exactly.
Makes us look like an aggressor? Is that what he just said? You think that we were not the aggressors? We just looked like it? I don't understand. What an absurd thing to say. Do you want to turn your light on?
I can try.
I think you have to hit the button all the way at the bottom. I'm not mistaken. I think on the power supply. I'm sorry. We were going to put a remote on it or something. We just hadn't gotten around to it. It's an an Apple Home thing, so you just have to click the button, and we'll figure it out later. Just gotta click that puppy to turn it on, and we should be good to go. Okay, it's white, and it's plugged in. What? It's on the side. No. There. It's on now. Okay, we're good. Let's continue then. When you're sat back down. Much brighter.
We should have taken the attack, then we'd be the victims. Then blow the shit out of them.
It's not, you know, and there's the challenge, right? Because that's, and you know this better than anybody, but the Project for a New American Century, when they, who was it who said that?
April 2020, we need a Pearl Harbor event to launch the American empire.
And then there was the quote that I think it might have been Rumsfeld saying, sometimes we need a terror attack to remind people of what we're protecting them from.
He said we need 3,000 dead.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, which is Pearl Harbor, which they had on 9/11.
Yeah. And that's the challenge. I mean, if we did nothing and Iran attacked us, then we'd go in. And what Rubio said was then we'd be in hearings talking about how we knew it was going to happen and we didn't do anything to prevent it.
Well, I'll be honest. If there was a magic red button to send the Muslims to Mars, I'd hit it. But every time we do this, they just put the head of Al-Qaeda before Trump got in.
I mean, can we take that to mean that he would murder every Muslim on planet Earth? He gave a non-murderous solution to it, but he wants them gone from society, basically, right?
Yeah, he said, if I could get rid of every single Muslim.
I don't want every Muslim gone. I want Islam gone. If I could hit a button and convince everybody that they were being lied to, I would hit it for sure. But I don't want people dead.
In charge of Syria. Israel created Hamas. So here's the deal.
That's a little known fact. Did you know Israel created Hamas? You didn't?
No.
Basically, Hamas was a political party in the Middle East, like in Gaza or whatever. And Israel funded Hamas, the political party, because they were extremists and they wanted to cause chaos. And they wanted to create a reason for them to be there trying to fix things. They wanted to make a mess out of the Middle East so that they could sweep in as the heroes. So they funded Hamas in the early 2000s.
If we were actually fixing it, I'd be for it. Islam's cancer, but we don't fix it. We put worse Muslims in.
And we finance and we train them and we give them arms and we give them weapons and we give them the training. And
unvaxxed and still autistic. Is that what his shirt says? Are you kidding me? Look at this shirt. Unvaxxed and still autistic.
I kind of really like that shirt.
Such a stupid shirt.
I kind of really like that shirt.
As we know, of course, vaccines don't cause autism.
If I had an autism diagnosis, I would wear that shirt.
And then it bites us in the butt. And it's like, what did we think was going to happen here? Israel even came out today, and they're saying that this regime is unlikely to fall. Obviously, everyone knew this was going to happen. The war games were there, too.
They gave the report a week before.
Yep.
And I was called a Qatari agent for reading the report that admitted this.
Yeah.
I have got no money from Qatar. I'm waiting for the money right now.
Okay. He's drunk. He's very obviously drunk. I don't know if it's easy to tell at this point, but in the opener, he was just, God, I don't even know. Schmoobly-gong, maybe that's the word that describes. It feels right.
There's also rumors that the son of the Ayatollah is already dead.
Yeah.
I think he's in a coma at least. Because the Israelis have not lied about who they've killed.
But the rumors in Israel is that he's dead.
Well,
and there's just no official
there's
reporting.
one thing Israel tells the truth about is who they killed. They said we killed the Ayatollah a week and a half ago. It was true. And they said this guy's in a coma. I believe it.
So it's Israel saying he's in a coma.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
All right. Well, there was rumors last week. We had talked about it that he got wounded. He's fine. Then they said they amputated his leg. He didn't show up for his own coronation ceremony or whatever. Now they're saying he's in a coma. I would not be surprised if in 2 or 3 days they're like, yeah, he's dead. And the reason
I think he probably is dead.
I don't know for sure, but I think they do have good reason strategically.
Well, they dropped 30,000-pound bombs on you.
Right. But the Iranian government's not going to want to admit that the United States has repeatedly just killed all of its leaders, its new leader, and wiped out their government. That and the people might actually revolt and the chain of command breaks down. So they're going to say, no, he's alive. Here's his statement to keep the confidence going that they exist, to try and outlast Trump, because Trump's politically vulnerable right now.
And now,
but I think it'll be concluded in a few weeks if Trump really does escalate bombing campaigns. And that doesn't mean we win. It doesn't mean the government is over. What I'm saying is we may stop striking, they may stop striking, but nothing may be resolved.
No, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, here's the deal. I want an exit strategy here.
There's no exit strategy because there was no enter strategy. Like, they went in half-cocked for absolutely no reason and started this war with no justification, no preamble, no lead-up, no propaganda, or any of that. They just went in and started bombing them. It's absurd.
I would love to get rid of the middle list. I said when it started 12 days ago, I said, it started, I think it's not going to work. I hope they fail. I hope they fall right now. But it didn't happen. But I'm not a rocket scientist. The chairman...
Yeah, knock me over with the feather. Really? You're not? Okay.
I would never be able to tell.
Color me surprised.
The Joint Chiefs and all the other reports told him it probably wouldn't work.
Yeah.
And my listeners are like, you're a Qatari agent. No, like the Pentagon said, don't do it. Because it's a roll of the dice.
Okay, that's the second time he's brought up the fact that people are accusing him of being a Qatari agent. I had never considered it before, but I am now considering it.
What's up with all this, like, the Israel stuff?
That's retarded. I've never been to Israel, nothing to do with Israel. Anytime I'm like, people are like, it rained today, Israel did it. I'm like, well, no, it's just, it's like...
You know, the reason I ask you is because you've got more experience in the independent media space, particularly when it comes to government conspiracy, psychological operations, and all that.
More experience. Okay.
Every time something bad would happen, my friends have started saying, it was Israel, it was Israel. And my ex would go, 5 billion to Israel. And that just reminded me of that. He goes, it rains today, it was Israel.
Yeah.
Just reminded me of that.
Insane.
You know, you've been here longer than anybody else. And then all of a sudden, over the past 6 months, there's been this dramatic shift online where now everyone's just talking about Israel doing everything all the time. Like, all the conspiracy stuff that you've talked about when it comes to liberal economic order, you know, Project for a New American Century, all that is just gone now. No one cares. None of that exists. It's just Israel did it.
It's because Qatar doesn't lie about it. They spend like $20 million a year on this. And so it doesn't mean that stuff about Israel isn't true. They have changed the whole subject into that instead of China and the EU trying to censor Americans. So I like, hey, the EU's trying to arrest Elon Musk with huge...
Dude, he's slurring. He is so drunk.
Fines. Or Brazil, shut up Israel. So it's kind of like a public woke up like a baby duck, kind of imprints on the first thing it sees. So the public woke up, and so the Muslim Brotherhood, which Qatar funds, said, oh, the first thing you see is Israel, which Israel deserves in many ways, but it's also retarded because now the baby duck woke up and all it sees is Israel.
Yeah.
And so it's retarded.
Bro, I'm sorry. I have no idea what he is talking about, right? A baby duck imprinting, waking up. Who is the baby duck in this analogy? I'm so lost.
He's so drunk that he can't even pretend to like make sense with his analogies. It's so bad.
I'm so confused by this.
Yeah, the conversation I often have about it is that, like, certainly criticize Israel for their machinations and whatever they're trying to do, but there's a whole bunch of other foreign policy and special interests around the world that the U.S. is involved in that has nothing to do with the Middle East.
Well, exactly. I'll cover China running like half the Democrats with proof, and half the comments are, why you covering up for Israel? It's like they don't. I cover like, literally like there were fires and floods in Texas a few months ago, and half the comments were, why you cover for Israel? There's like can't cover a flood, can't cover a fire, can't cover. It's just Israel, because it's all they know, and they think that's the secret thing. That's the special little treat.
I think social media is doing it on purpose. And the reason people think this is because it's being blasted into their feeds 24/7, which triggers other people to...
You can't?
No, won't let me.
Try hitting spacebar.
I did both.
Move the mouse. Does the mouse move?
Does it?
Let me see. I think it's dead. Go on.
Dude, I promise you, everyone who's saying, like, is blaming Israel for literally everything, I promise they are joking. Especially if it's on social media. No one sits there and genuinely says, oh, it's Israel's fault that it's raining today. Like, it's a joke. And jokes, like, I guess jokes seem to go over these guys' heads, probably because they don't make very funny ones anyways. But, like, I just, like, I can't comprehend how they're sitting here and they're like, no, this is a real thing. This is the media, and the media is being serious.
That's Tim Pool for you. I mean, they were just talking about how they believe that Iran is about to strike the White House or some stupid thing. It's insane.
No, I agree. The system wants this clash. That's what I explained. Like,
well, they want to divide and conquer people. They want people fighting each other based on superficial differences. The first thing I kind of think about here is Cass Sunstein, Obama's information czar. He literally wrote the white paper on disinformation, and he talked about how he needed to hijack legitimate criticism by making it seem crazy. He literally wrote the book. He was also connected to Epstein, too.
He said we'll discredit it.
He'll discredit.
What is the... Oh, I can pause now. What side is this guy on? He has, like, unvaxxed but still autistic shirt, which implies that vaccinations don't cause autism, which is kind of against them. But he's also sitting here like, oh, and also he's connected to Epstein.
I think that they are all anti-Israel. They're all also anti-vax. And generally, I don't know why he has that shirt.
Yeah,
there must be some kind of an underlying story behind it. And they're all kind of neo-Nazis generally.
It by putting out fake actors out there that will make theories that sound really crazy, so you destroy any kind of legitimate criticism or question.
And then Nick Fuentes, who's critical of Israel, is banned from YouTube, and Candace Owens has put up on the front page.
Yeah. Well, but here's my deal. People ask why I attack Candace Owens. She says ice melts at 30 degrees.
Have you seen the Candace Owens stuff?
I've seen a lot of Candace Owens stuff.
Where she's claiming that Israel is responsible for murdering Charlie Kirk or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, so these people do not, they're kind of on the fence with Candace Owens. I don't remember where I'm going in this game, and I just got a clue, and I was not paying attention.
I keep seeing it seems a little fake and gay stuff from Candace Owens.
Yeah, that's like one of her favorites.
My friends also started quoting that.
Yeah.
I have weird friends.
And she says, I'm a time traveler. I mean, it's just like...
Charlie was a time traveler.
Yeah, he was a time traveler. Exactly. I'm just like...
Has she?
I'm like...
Yeah, I think she said that.
That Charlie Kirk is a time traveler?
Let's find out.
Charlie Kirk's a time traveler. He wouldn't have been shot. He would have known.
Charlie Kirk. I think one of the big things that she's doing right now is claiming that she and Charlie Kirk were capable of astral projection.
Oh. How does Erica feel about this?
God, who knows? She's been attacking Erica Kirk a lot lately, too, so.
Probably jealous of her. I think Erica Kirk has something with J.D. Vance.
Yeah, I think that's pretty clear, for sure. Yes, apparently. Charlie Kirk was killed in September 2025, and by January 2026, Owens claimed on her podcast that Kirk told her he was a time traveler and knew he would die young, saying it's an absolute fact. Charlie Kirk thought he was a time traveler. He told me he was a time traveler repeatedly. Goes much further than that, apparently. This is all on the Jerusalem Post, by the way. She also claimed that agents surrounding Kirk throughout his life knew he would die young, and that those same agents sent Kirk to an X-Men school because his mother wouldn't allow them to drug him. She also told listeners she'd responded to Kirk by saying she thought she herself was an alien from another planet because this planet is ghetto, quote unquote, and connected her love of cats to this belief, claiming cats also think humanity is ghetto.
You guys
so
should
stupid.
You guys should watch, if any of you like musicals, you should watch Ride the Cyclone. There's a scene in that musical where one of the characters insists that he's actually an alien from another planet, and you want to know what the planet is? It's full of cats.
That's painfully stupid.
And also, apparently, Candace Owens' core.
The broader framing connects all of this to Project Looking Glass, a conspiracy theory about a secret CIA time viewing program linked to the Mandela effect. Owens offered no documents, dates, or witnesses to back any of it up, quote unquote. That's from the Jerusalem Post. Wow. Okay.
I'm not even saying I trust TPUSA. I'm not saying there's not a cover-up of Charlie Kirk, but I cannot buy Mitch Snow with a hammer, convicted of beating his wife with a hammer, and then he puts the story out, she attacked me with a hammer, and Candace goes with it and raises him $200,000. And I'm just like, I'm not going to lie. Like, it's just crazy.
Alex Jones says, I'm not going to lie.
While
I
drunk.
should put that on my soundboard. What?
While drunk.
Yeah.
Let's jump to this story. We got this video that's going viral.
Yeah, they just moved on.
Can you put that on your soundboard, and every time he lies and says something crazy, you gotta...
It wouldn't be easy to put it on the soundboard. If, maybe later I'll grab it.
Like, it's just crazy.
Let's jump to this story. We got this video that's going viral from Mario Nawful. He says, Netanyahu, quote, "We will make it to the return of the Messiah, but this will not happen next Thursday." And so this video has been making the rounds, of course, it's got 400,000 views. And there was an article written a few days ago, Israel is gripped by messianic fervor for a biblical war. Now, there's another video that's massively going viral where everyone's saying that he said return of the Messiah, as if to imply he believes in Jesus Christ. When you actually...
No, he's Jewish Messiah.
No, it says return. The Jews believe the Messiah has not come. So if Netanyahu says the return...
Interesting. So Netanyahu is pandering to Christian Zionists, then, is what's happening, right?
Return of the Messiah, that means he thinks the Messiah has already been here.
Did he say that?
So here's what I've found in the transcript. When you ask for a translation through Grok or whatever, it says in Hebrew, in what he is speaking, it can be paraphrased either way, as in the...
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense then. So this is Christian Zionists using this phrase dishonestly, is what it is then, right?
I also appreciate that who's this dude that's speaking right now?
This is Tim Pool.
When Tim Pool said, because he said the return, he thinks that the Messiah has already been here. The response was, did he say that? Where'd he say that? When it's like right on their screens.
Yeah. Well, Alex Jones is drunk, so he probably isn't even aware that there's a screen there.
No, Alex Jones, my king, questioning Tim Pool.
Yeah.
The era of the Messiah or the return of...
Well, David was the Messiah, so he returns.
No, David was not a Messiah.
Jewish law.
They do believe that David was a Messiah?
He was the art. Yeah, he was the precursor.
I thought they haven't had their Messiah yet.
No, but it's all... David was the Messiah. He returns.
Well, either way,
No, he was not a Messiah. David was king, not Messiah. Messiah in Hebrew simply means anointed one and referred to anyone ritually anointed.
Christ also means anointed one.
The concept of Messiah or the Son of Man, this is why they used the term Son of Man instead of anointed one, because it meant a specific person. Today, when they talk about the Messiah coming, they mean the Son of Man. So anyway, yeah.
That is a component of why people have been sharing this clip quite a bit. But this plays into one of the theories. It's kind of interesting. This video is coming out now. There are a lot of people that are suggesting...
No, I haven't seen this yet.
Oh, no, I mean...
Well, shut up and let them play it. My God, drunk Alex Jones, you're insufferable.
Study the Old Testament. Everything's a precursor, so...
Yeah.
David...
I don't know why he's disagreeing with his friend so hard here. I understand he's drunk, but he's just like, his friends are sitting here, and this is the conspiracy theory, and trust me, guys, it's so real. And he's like, but it's not because of this thing that I just made up.
Makes you want to wring the dude's neck. My God, dude.
Study the Old Testament. Everything's a precursor, so...
Yeah.
David is the precursor to the Messiah.
Yeah, it says that the Messiah will come from David's family line.
Yeah.
Well, so then again, my understanding is that return
he says
of
return,
is just
he means
translation.
The return of David.
So, indeed, what's
By the way,
interesting about
be
this
called
is...
the star... Anyway, sorry.
He just wants to move on, and Alex Jones will not shut up. I love that.
The reason why this is picking up steam is that one of the theories amongst those who believe Israel runs everything is that they're trying to make everyone hate them because they have to go to war with the world in order to trigger the return of their Messiah. So if there really is this, as this article said, messianic fervor, and then you get Netanyahu literally saying we will make it to the return of the Messiah, but not by next Thursday, a lot of people are jumping on this and saying, straight from the man's mouth, they are
No,
doing
I mean,
a lot
I
of this.
think that it's not all the Jews, but certainly there's different Jewish interests that get when they're attacked, they get more power. Netanyahu has been indicted. Netanyahu would be in jail right now. And so,
why isn't he?
By him being under attack, he stays in power.
Well, he's obviously not in jail right now because he isn't going to places where he would be arrested by the International Criminal Court. But okay.
So I'm not going to judge him on, his weird Supreme Court battles. It's all so confusing. See, I just say I knew the answers. It's so confusing. I don't know. But definitely they are invoking this messianic stuff.
Yeah. Do you think he's like creating war to stay in power? I mean, I'm not saying you're saying this, but that he would be creating war to stay in power.
No, he said like 3 years ago, or 2 years ago, when they did October 7th, he said, we'll look at why there was a stand down later once the war's over, but the war never ends.
Yeah, wars are meant to be continued, and there's a lot of soldiers that are literally talking about this being a holy war for them, so they could bring in the Third Temple. Albert Pike talked about a lot of this stuff. 1871, he wrote a letter about World War III.
Are you familiar with the Third Temple stuff?
Yeah.
And it's absolutely
Wait,
crazy.
1871, he wrote about World War III.
Yes.
What?
That's before either World War I or World War II. That's funny.
Wait.
World War I was 1914. World
Right,
War II
yeah.
was 1939.
So you knew they were going to be the first two? You didn't tell anybody about it?
No, he talked about World War I. He talked about World War II,
Was he
and then
right
he
about
talked
it?
about World War III. And he talked about the Jews fighting the Muslims in this world that will bring in the demon, will bring in the kind of demonic order.
Okay, it sounds like he's just got a screw loose, right?
So this is. I mean, I've been talking about this for about 12 years. I did a video with David Icke about this.
I'm sorry, real quick, just don't forget what you're going
Not David Icke. Do you know David Icke?
No.
He's the guy who popularized the lizard people conspiracy theory that Jews are lizard people who transfer into like human bodies to control the world.
Do all of these people watch Doctor Who and think that it's like a documentary?
I think Doctor Who is based off of the conspiracies that these people are repeating. Yeah.
to say. Albert Pike's statue was torn down by anti-racism protesters in the George Floyd riots.
Of course, not a surprise there at all. But a lot of people believe that this is prophecy being kind of that we're kind of living through this as it's being played out right in front of our eyes.
Is the demon the AI technocratic overstate?
Who knows?
Well, you were advocating for it yesterday, Ian.
And that's my point. Is that
AI judges?
I literally don't hate Jews. Like, I don't sit there with a big heart on and like I fall in a banana peel blaming Jews. But now Israel is literally doing every step you can to make it all about Israel, which is not. It's China and the EU and all these powers. And it's just like constantly, oh, we're here. No, we're the. It's like, I'm smart enough to go, like, what's going on here? Like,
every
what are you
country has their own interests and people that.
This is the singer from the band All That Remains. Do you know that band?
Mm-mm.
It's an old punk / metal band from like the Breaking Benjamin era and Maroon 5. Do you know them?
I know Maroon 5.
Yeah, he's from the same era. He's very famous.
I think that everything is about Israel they're totally overlooking the fact that every country has their own interests, they have their own agency, and they have their own plans. There are times where like the U.S. interests and Israel's overlap, but it doesn't mean that Israel's in control of everything.
But to that point, I agree. I understand what you're saying, Alex. That they are trying to take the spotlight in all of these affairs.
Exactly.
Make
Israel
themselves.
wants the attack because then there are people who get behind them. So it's not like Israel's involved in all the bad stuff, but they're like, okay, we'll be the villain. It's just like I'm just like.
I actually think if you take a look at the latest media moves over the past several months, like the purchase of CBS and TikTok, there is a
by Larry Ellison and his son, billionaire takeovers of media, basically.
What did you used to call it, Alex? Problem, reaction, solution. So whether
Larry Ellison buying it up.
Whether it's intentional or otherwise, you have this burst of anti-Israel and, quite honestly, a lot of anti-Semitic content. Then this triggers prominent, wealthy millionaires and billionaires, Jewish and otherwise, to buy up these platforms to ban that content.
Interesting. Well, they're not just banning anti-Semitic stuff. They're banning any criticism of Israel at all as a country. And they're banning mention of ICE. They're reconfiguring TikTok entirely to benefit Donald Trump specifically, which is part of the deal.
So, in essence, by by having this large burst of anti-Semitic or anti-Israel content, you then create the circumstances by which you can get powerful interests to shut those things down completely.
100%. You just said it. And I don't know what the end game is. I'm just like, I'm against Israel trying to start a nuclear war, but I'm also not against Israel. I'm just like, man, I'm done. Like,
I'm fairly ambivalent. Foreign affairs is foreign affairs to me. It's crazy to me that there are people hyper for and against. No, I understand why people would be for it, especially if you're Jewish and you're Israeli. But the fact that there are so many people in the United States who are for and against it who are neither, that's strange to me. Yeah. I'm like, we can talk about China all day.
But you now see how Iran, because they're willing to kill their own people. 2 days ago, I said Iran is belligerent. They're emboldened. I was like, oh, you're a Qatari agent. I ain't got the check yet. My point was they don't care. They're willing to die. So I'm saying, like, what do you do when you're faced with this?
Yeah.
Like, this is cuckoo town. Like, what?
Alex Jones says this is cuckoo town.
I have a question for you, because again, I think you would know this better than most people, but we've talked about the U.S. motivations for going against Iran, and it largely has to do with the Strait of Hormuz, the 20% of oil and gas flowing through from the Gulf states, and the U.S. maintaining its economy on the petrodollar. So my position, my view of this is the U.S. looks at Iran as a disruptor of international oil trade, for which we tell our customers, you use dollars to buy oil, we'll police the seas. Iran tells us to shove off, funds militias, Houthi rebels, they bomb cargo ships. So the U.S. says this has to stop. I'm curious if you agree or how do you see it?
No, that's it. I mean, that's it. And my point is, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs told Trump, they've got a whole army right there. Even if we blow them up, they can block the strait. And that's 25% of the oil. So it creates a crisis.
Yeah, this is a well-known problem that Iran has been threatening if they're attacked, they're going to do for many years. And if they didn't know that they were going to close the Strait of Hormuz, then they are stupider than I thought.
Trump's like, well, we'll fix it in a year. Yeah, a year. Trump's whole plan to fix inflation is based on cheap energy. So this messes him up. So he's not thinking. That's why he's suddenly like, oh, God, end the war. Oh, God, yeah, which I agree with. Like, yeah, dude, this ain't like just blow some stuff up. So again, I actually wish the Muslims would all go away. I want Israel to be free. I'm not even. My sick thing is, I get nothing by being nice to Israel. I've never been to Israel. I'm not in Israel's team, but I want to blow up the Jews. I want to blow up Israel. I'm just like,
yeah. So I feel like one of the big problems here is that they're conflating Jews with Israel and turning it into an ethno state. It is an ethno state, self-declared as such by Israel, but it shouldn't be. And because I don't like Israel doesn't mean I don't like Jews.
Stop using us in these wars to expand your power. And then Israel's like, oh, greater Israel. I saw these clips like, we're going to take over the whole Middle East. And I'm just like, with us paying for it? So I'm like, you're making me come out against you. Stop it. That's where I'm at with Israel. It's like, stop. It's crazy.
Well, the problem is, if we want to maintain the petrodollar, which puffs up our economy, we have to force everybody in line, and this is why you get these regime change wars. Yeah. It's why
I agree, but we already have that all in line. Israel,
not with Iran,
has already defeated all its enemies. Like when they were attacking the last few years, I'm like, great, Israel defeated, the Lebanon, the Hamas, in Gaza. Great, that just adds to megalomania. So see, they've already beat all their enemies. Do you see the Israeli former prime minister said, well, when we're done with Iran, Turkey's next. Turkey has the biggest military in Europe.
You want to hit the button? Yeah, I'll wait for you to hit that button. All right.
Well, when we're done with Iran, Turkey's next. Turkey has the biggest military in Europe.
You cannot hit Turkey. That is a NATO ally. If you hit Turkey, everybody is going to turn on you and will be legally obligated to attack Israel. That is the last thing you want to do. Not to mention the fact that they have the, what's it called? The Samson doctrine, where if Israel is in danger of not being a state anymore or losing power over this region, they will drop a nuke on everything and everybody. That's an actual doctrine in their legal code. What's up? Okay.
Israel's now saying.
Do you want to continue? You don't have to.
Yeah, I just
I'm just anxious.
Okay.
Turkey's
now
also-
we're ready, Turkey.
Turkey's also a member of
Yeah.
NATO, which I mean, I personally, I'm not a fan of Turkey being in NATO, but like, if Israel
I'm not a fan of
attacks,
Turkey either, but like now Israel wants us to.
I'm actually a
That
big
ain't-
fan of
that ain't
Turkey.
happening.
They got great baklava. They got these things called Islak burgers. They're lamb burgers that you dip in like an oily tomato sauce.
never forgive
the
him for
Turkish
giving it-
government. We can complain about.
Well,
all day.
Alex is saying it's true. You saw this on
Piker.
Fox News, and you saw Rupert
I'll never forgive them for giving us Hassan Piker. They're talking about Israel. I'm sorry. They're talking about Turkey is what I meant.
Murdoch actually, through all the kind of news organizations, push. We have to go to Turkey. Turkey's a threat. Turkey's not agreeing. Turkey's
Well,
not playing ball.
the
So-
Bosphorus
yeah.
is extremely important.
Yeah, so they already have a new enemy. It's like
Exactly,
The U.S.
it's
has
like,
to get out of NATO
It's
for
like,
that,
oh,
though.
now we're gonna fight the biggest army in Europe.
But guys, think of all the Turkish delight we'd get.
Like I said,
No, we wouldn't. We would bomb the crap out of them, and there'd be no
There'd be
delights for
none
anybody. There would be nothing.
they're the biggest army in Europe.
Yeah, and then
Like-
Pakistan also is
Like,
another
why
thing.
is
Yeah.
Israel their former prime minister? They're on TV. Turkey, you're next. It's like because he's like, fine, Israel. I'm against Israel.
Seriously, why do these people muse casually over bombing all of these countries and then expect Trump to get the Nobel Peace Prize? He wanted the Nobel Peace Prize. You know why he wanted that? Because he likes to corrupt everything that he touches. He was looking for an opportunity to corrupt the one thing that he knew that he couldn't get.
But if you want to kill yourself, go fight this dude. But it's like Mike Tyson. Like I'm like an 80-pound dude. Like Mike Tyson, I'm gonna kick your ass. Turkey has this giant military, and Israel knows we're gonna back them. No,
way,
dude,
no way,
not.
Not against a NATO member.
Yeah, it's not.
Well, you saw Israel's teeing Turkey up.
For sure, but that they're gonna find the line.
Yeah.
Well, Bibi just announced today that Israel isn't just going to be a regional power, but a global superpower. When you're a global superpower, as Bibi announced, you're going to have to.
All their newspapers say
put-
we control the U.S. They say it. So now we run the world like cuckoo town. If you actually ran things, shut up.
If they're
I agree.
if they're talking about Turkey, that means next after Turkey, they're going to talk about taking over Spain and taking over Morocco so that they can control Gibraltar for that western seaport.
Exactly.
That is insane. I'm not actually sure that Israel said anything about controlling Turkey. I would be surprised because they're a NATO ally, and coming up against NATO is a totally different beast.
I personally don't think that any of that is going to happen. Because
No, but
don't
I mean,
think-
that's what I'm
because of
saying. It's
NATO.
cuckoo.
So, yeah, it is crazy. It is
It's
crazy.
cuckoo.
Yeah, it is.
Let's jump to the story and bring it back domestically. We've got this from the Post Millennial. Old Dominion shooter Mohammed Jallo shouted Allahu Akbar as he opened fire, says the FBI. FBI has confirmed he shouted the phrase right before firing his gun. So for those that haven't
And by the way, he was convicted in 2016 of being an ISIS operative.
Yeah.
Why the hell was this guy not in a Supermax?
I have no idea what they're talking about here.
like how you said, hell.
I'm trying to be nice. Like, I mean, come on, baby.
It was good.
They say the dead Old Dominion shooter, Mohammed Jallo, shouted Allahu Akbar right before he opened fire on students. This was at Old Dominion University in Virginia, I believe, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
They say that FBI authorities also called the shooting an act of terrorism. And this isn't the only one. We also have that synagogue story, which we'll get to in a minute.
Another Muslim.
Yeah.
So
My point is, how he was convicted.
Well,
so
let's find out what this is about, if this is real.
Christians also commit crimes. I don't know if they're aware of that. And Christians also say, like, their crimes are for God. So they're sitting here saying, oh, and it was another Muslim, and oh, Muslims are evil, blah, 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 blah. But, like, Christians do the same thing.
Mohammed Jallah shouted Allahu Akbar before opening. Old Dominion University shooter, convicted of being an ISIS member. But we'll find out what this is about. Let me just look this up.
Well, here's the question. You are right. How is this happening? Is the U.S. government letting it happen?
100%.
Yeah. I mean, even the Trump...
They put the head of Al-Qaeda in Syria.
Well,
we replaced Al Qaeda with Al Qaeda. I mean, how much money did we spend on that? And plus, the Trump assassin, by the way, the FBI shipped him into the United States. Not a lot of people know this, and he's from Pakistan.
Wait, which one?
The one that they recently caught
one.
recently. He's really Pakistani. He had an Iranian wife, but the
Right,
FBI literally
the guy
brought him in
they
the
said that
country.
was going to kill Trump.
Right. So Jallo basically provided material support to terrorists. Basically, he sent them money, and he spent 11 years in prison for sending them money. Suddenly, money is not free speech. That's interesting. It is free speech when they want, when billionaires want to donate to super PACs to fund political campaigns, but it's not free speech when people are funding terrorists. Okay. I guess it doesn't cut both ways. Anyway, the point is he served 11 years in prison for this, went in 2017, released in 2024, served roughly 8 years of an 11-year sentence. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Both plots were CIA hired lunatics.
Yeah, but this guy in particular, this guy that that committed the attack at the Dominion, at Old Dominion, he was a product of a failed Justice Department. They should have put him in jail forever.
Well, they put him in jail for 11 years for his speech, according to the Supreme Court. So, yeah, I don't know what they expected.
It wasn't like the U.S.
Yeah, he was convicted of an ISIS operative.
Yeah, and he should have been in a Virginia prison for the rest of his life.
Or just not in this country.
Fair enough. But I do want to point...
He was convicted as an ISIS operative.
Yeah, hold on.
Bro, you have literally said that 3 or 4 times now. Everybody heard that the first time. Thank you.
Or just not in this country.
Fair enough. But I do want to point...
He was convicted as an ISIS operative.
Yeah, hold on. I want to point out an ROTC guy stabbed him and took the guy that that killed. He got killed by a dude with a knife in the
and you got some badasses
that
there.
kid needs
badass killed himself.
that kid needs a valor commendation.
I agree. We want him on the show.
Absolutely.
America, talk about Team America.
Hell yeah.
But the CIA has a history of bringing these guys in. Look at the 9/11 hijackers. They were denied visas into America, and then Michael Springmeier at the Jeddah consulate literally came out and said, "I was forced to allow these guys into America because the CIA got involved."
I'm sorry, I don't buy that for a second. You're telling me you think the 9/11 hijackers were prevented from coming into the country and there's a CIA conspiracy to allow them in anyway? Please.
Under Brennan, I interviewed Springman. Brennan ordered him to let all the hijackers in.
Fine, but there's no evidence that this guy was actually brought in by the CIA. And with 4 years of an open border and with the policies that the left has been, he could have got in. Actually, no, he was here in 2016, so this probably was during President Obama.
He was convicted of being an ISIS operative.
Yeah, so this was during...
How the fuck is... Excuse me.
This falls on Obama's
How is an ISIS operative still running around?
He should have been in jail forever.
If you're convicted of being ISIS, your balls get cut off.
Do you think this is an inside job?
No, I think these liberal judges here in Austin, it's all run by Soros. The other guy shoots 5 people and they let him loose the next day.
Yeah.
They're not in Austin. That's where Alex Jones lives. They're in West Virginia, where Tim Pool lives. Why did he say that just now? Is it because he's just straight up drunk?
Why are they letting him stay on? This
I don't know. I guess it would be a big thing if they ended the show early. Maybe if Tim Pool said, "Oh no, I got a big important text. I got to end the show. I'm sorry. We'll have you back tomorrow," or something like that. Maybe that's what I would have done if I were in that situation. I don't know.
It's all run by Soros. The other guy shoots 5 people and they let him loose the next day.
Yeah. There was a...
Oh my God, dude. Soros is the ultimate boogeyman for these people.
A video's been going viral where a guy was drunk driving and he crashed into a vehicle, killing this man's daughter and grandparents. This was in the UK, I think, and the female judge got him off on community service or something. So the dude threw a chair at her, I guess. I think this is... I
don't think that's... No, he's not relaying that correctly, if it's the case I'm thinking of.
I think, what's her name? Helen Andrews? Is that the woman? Talks about the feminization of our institutions. You're getting... Soros is propping a lot of these individuals up, so it's ideological as well. But
please, God, the ultimate boogeyman. They're always talking about Soros.
Stockholm syndrome. Oh, you raped me. I turned you loose.
They're releasing all of these criminals, And I think you make a good point, because this is something that people have warned about for the past several years. This is what's going to happen when you keep releasing criminals. You get an ISIS guy and they say, give him a second chance. So what does he do? He goes and shoots a bunch of
They didn't give him a second chance. He spent 8 years in prison. He served his term. He didn't do anything for ISIS aside from use his free speech as the Supreme Court views it. So I can't even believe he got 8 years, honestly.
people.
What's that? I saw a video today where a 16-year-old's driving reckless on a moped in traffic, 80 miles an hour, and the cops arrest him. And I see 50 videos where they pull over an illegal alien, doesn't know how to turn the lights on their 18-wheeler. And they go, you can go, you're an illegal alien. It's like, what the hell is this?
Do you hear about the guy? I think he got 10 years for cheating in a fishing contest.
Yeah.
You heard the story? He was putting weights in his fish, so they convicted him. It's like fraud, 10 years or something like that. I don't know what the actual charges were. But
Okay, that sounds made up. Let's find out.
Or, like, exaggerated.
A guy got 10 years in prison cheating in a fishing contest. Weights in his fish. No need to wonder. Just loaded up our question gun. Let's go answer hunting. Find out what's going on here. Happened earlier this month, apparently. Wow. Couple of important nuances, though. Curtis Lee Daniels was arrested and charged with fraud in fishing tournaments after Texas game wardens performed a necropsy on his bass and found 3 weights in the fish's stomach that showed no signs of erosion, suggesting they'd been placed there recently. Weights of the same style and size were also found in his boat. The 10 years thing needs context, so apparently, because the prize was greater than $10,000, the charge is a third-degree felony, meaning he faces 2 to 10 years in state prison and fines of up to $10,000. That's not surprising. Yeah, okay. That's not the sentencing range. He'll probably get 2 years probation at most. That's fair. That's a felony for, at best, like, grand larceny. I think. Is that what it said? Grand larceny? That's what that would be.
I'm going to hop off.
Okay.
I have therapy
Turn
soon.
your camera off. You have what?
Therapy.
Okay.
At 4.
Turn the camera off and leave the screen the way it is.
Right.
That's not that surprising.
But yeah, our system is great. Then if you have a crooked toenail, you go to prison. I'm like, hey, I want molesters, I want bank robbers, I want child molesters dead. Once you've done with them, then you can worry about somebody cheating on a bass fishing.
Here you go. Texas fishing cheating scandal, why a man could face 10 years for allegedly tampering with bass.
He's not going to face 10 years. I've said this before, but I have been in trouble with the law in similar ways when I was younger, when I was an addict and I was a complete mess. I got myself in trouble as well. And my sentence was 1 to 10. And I was lucky in a lot of ways. The judge, going into it, basically I wrote up a plea agreement with my lawyer and with the prosecutor and everything, and they agreed to 1 year probation, slap on the wrist, instead of the full 10-year sentence. But the judge that I was working with was running for election for the first time and had the choice of throwing out my plea agreement completely and sentencing me to 10 years in prison if he wanted. He accepted the plea agreement, but my attorney told me at the time that was a possibility. It's scary, man. The whole thing was very, very scary. But anyway, the point is I got a year on probation. I served it with flying colors and moved on with my life and became a contributing member to society. That's generally how first offenses go. And that's probably what's going to happen with this guy. Probably 2 years probation because he actually tried to steal tens of thousands of dollars. That's a felony. That's no joke. That's serious.
Maybe it's worse than any of us realize, but it's a terrible headline when you have an ISIS guy get released and then go commit a terror attack. And
I mean, the ISIS guy served 8 years in prison, and he wasn't stealing tens of thousands of dollars. He was providing tens of thousands of dollars. They're just not comparable situations at all, is the issue here. Obviously.
Guy who was
the
cheating
ISIS guy goes kills people, and you're worried about a bass.
That's literally what Tim Pool said just now, Alex. Thank you for repeating what he just said verbatim.
Exactly. I'm like, what is this, Luke?
It's insanity.
Oh, it was in Texas, too.
It's probably intentional. I bet this whole, like, oh, Arabs hate Jews isn't as big of a deal as people. They're just making it seem like they got every Jew around They're probably like, bro, all we want is stability. And America is like, no, what we want is the world. So
you're right. The Muslims invented modern mathematics. Before the Muslims, the West, 100 years ago, British intelligence funded out the Muslims. They were like, it was a Riviera, man. The Muslims went rock and roll and champagne, baby.
There was a really funny post where some liberal guy said that Zoran Mamdani has started teaching children Arabic numerals in schools. And then a bunch of conservatives got really angry, saying, like, this is disgusting. I can't believe it's come to this. Why are they doing this? Because they don't know that Arabic numerals are literally the numbers that we use. They're just literally numbers. Yeah,
it's just people looking for rage bait with that when it comes to that kind of stuff.
No, let me tell you.
Yeah, well, it's because conservatives are so easy to rage bait is why.
The Middle East had high IQ, so they inbreeding.
Yeah.
We're not being mean about it. Like, now they're like, it's dangerous.
They a lot of cousin marriage and stuff.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Arranged marriages and stuff, yeah.
I first heard this from the Joe Rogan podcast. He was talking with Gavin McInnes about it, and Gavin was talking about how there's...
And that got banned.
They deleted
that episode,
it.
yeah. But I looked it up. I'm like, this is the weirdest thing about that era in the 2010s, is that information that was readily available on government websites would get you banned off social media. Like, I can't remember who posted FBI crime stats. You post FBI crime stats. Tommy Robinson did it. Twitter banned him. They like gave him a
that's the
strike.
thing. Is Trump isn't perfect, and I bitch about him all day. But we should bitch about Democrats way more because we have to remember where we were. About what are they going to do when they get back in power?
Oh, well, Luke made a really good point about what's going on. Do you want to make that point about the trap?
Yeah, no, I believe the little bit of free speech that we have is essentially the cheese on the rat trap that all of us are now engaging in, and it's going to close behind us. As of course, a lot of people are using it to its fullest potential, but I see it as a trap. That's what it feels like to me. That's what my
free speech is a trap. Is that what he's saying? What?
Instincts feel like, because I saw how the internet was all the way in 2006. I saw the trap. I talked about the trap all the way in 2008. I said, we're going to lose our free speech. We lost our free speech.
We lost our free speech under Obama.
Yep.
We are taking Trump for granted with those problems. What is going to happen when the Democrats get back in? We should be talking about, we're free now. Oh, I'm so bad on YouTube. But the point is, imagine when they get back and take a piss. I'll be back.
Yes.
When they get back.
So Luke made an interesting point, and the way I described it was, the door's been open and everyone rushes through and all starts clamoring and having a conversation. Then when the Democrats win back power in the midterms, start filing investigations and subpoenas, start putting pressure on these big tech companies, the big tech companies are going to say, close the doors again. Well, guess what? We're all standing outside now.
But what other
so
option do we have?
they're going to cut off the space. And how does that really manifest? They're going to say, guys, we are banning any instance of A, B, C, and D. Then they're going to go to your channel and they're going to say, you have 300 videos that break the rules. You're deleted.
Exactly. And they're going to know exactly who to target.
Okay, I feel like it's, fear-mongery to frame it that way. I'll tell you what's going to happen because it's already happening. The government is just going to either buy the companies they can, like TikTok. They're going to have their friends buy them, like Larry Ellison with TikTok. Or they're going to pressure YouTube to change the way the algorithm works, which they've already done, by the way. Trans hate is no longer unmonetizable on YouTube, for example.
They're going to know exactly who to take out, and they're not going to do it step by step slowly like they did the first time around. It's just going to be one day, overnight, everything's gone. That's why I'm telling my people to sign up to like my members group, to my email list right now, because one day all of us are just going to lose our speech. And
in all seriousness, sign up for my Patreon. I would really appreciate that. I do worry about YouTube, whatever. They've already kind of killed my reach in the algorithm completely. it would mean a lot if you signed up on my Patreon. You don't even have to donate. You can just follow me there for free.
Yeah, but
nothing that we could do.
They're also probably going to, before that happens, knock on your door and lead you away in cuffs. Then ban you an hour later.
Oh, please.
To be that. It might not even need to even go there, because once they deplatform you, right? Once they debank you, like, you can't even exist in this kind of society.
Let me ask you guys this question. What would happen if one day tons of prominent anti-war, anti-uniparty individuals, I mean, because this could theoretically be left or right, technically, just didn't wake up. Let's say like 73 high-profile personalities with millions of followers that talk politics, populist level stuff. So even some lefties, some conservatives, some moderates, just they did not wake up. And then something happens where they're like, it looks like there was a mass poisoning, like someone targeted the meals of these individuals in the days prior and killed them, and then they died.
Normies would go about their day.
And killed them, and then they died, okay?
Normies would go about their day. It would be considered a major scandal that, because it affected left and right, no one would know anything. Like, there would be nothing about it. They'd be like, wow, this is the craziest serial killing spree we've ever seen, and we have no evidence. And I got to be honest, normies would go about their day, and within 3 or 4 weeks, it would be a thing that happened that sometimes get brought up. Because, I mean, let's do this. Let's talk about 9/11. Not in depth, but just bringing up 3,000 people lose their lives that day. And there were years of questions about investigations, about weird things that weren't answered for, like why did they get rid of all of the metal? They shipped it off. Thermite potentially being found, or at least molten steel. Now, I'm not asserting anything about what did or didn't happen, but my point is, whatever happened after a couple of years, everyone said that's now the past. So my point is not that it will happen.
I'm sorry. You think people put 9/11 in the past? What are you smoking?
It's more of a thought exercise of, if overnight, look, let's be real. If a roving band of Antifa went and just massacred a bunch of conservative personalities, yeah, you'd have a real problem. But if 70 high-profile individuals who do this kind of news and challenge the media all got poisoned within a day or two of each other, it would be major news. People would be freaking out. There would be some hearings, and then 6-7 months later, people would be talking about something else again.
I mean, that's the public consciousness. Yes, that's how it works. First time?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, your theory is not wrong. Look what's happening in the United Kingdom. Look what's happening when people.
It's over, bro. The UK is over.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't believe this. We got to invade.
Yeah, Germany.
Oh my God, the UK is over. It's so absurd. He talked about this previously, but basically, his belief is that the UK is changing their currency to have animals on the currency, in like wildlife, instead of like royal figures, and this is the end of everything. Apparently, it's insane. These people are fucking insane.
Yeah, Canada too. If we're gonna liberate some people, the people of Canada need to be liberated extensively.
When you mentioned what's going on in the UK and what's going on in Germany and stuff, like in Germany and France, the government is actually outlawing the parties that are pushing back. They're outlawing the FD. They're outlawing, like, Le Pen.
They're outlawing ideas and thoughts.
Let me pull this story up. We've got this from the AP. This is massive news, ladies and gentlemen. The United Kingdom, it's done. There's 2 big stories. First, Britain is ejecting hereditary nobles from Parliament after 700 years.
Why is that bad? They're getting rid of like the kingdom or the royals or whatever. Why is that bad? I don't understand. I thought here in America we were against having kings and stuff.
This is the historic 700-year system. Now, by all means, I do think there's reason to criticize a system where you inherit basically a Senate seat. It's basically how it works. You got the House of Lords, and you got the House of the Commons, or House of Commons. And the Commons is like your congressional reps, and the Lords is like your senators. And I actually completely disagree with this. I actually think the U.S. should repeal the 17th Amendment and bring our senators back to appointments by state-level politicians. This is a little bit different because you inherit your political seat, which is kind of weird if you think about it. That being said, whatever your view is on it, this is a long-standing 700-year tradition that ties the modern political infrastructure of Britain to its history, and they are getting rid of it. On top of that, they are getting rid of Winston Churchill on their banknotes, among other English leaders, and replacing them with hedgehogs and beavers.
So I don't understand. Why do you give a shit?
I am not kidding.
Perfect.
This is the end of the UK. There's no other way to explain it.
How is this the end of the UK? Are you kidding me? Okay, I've got to grab this clip. This is insane. My waveforms failed.
You're not allowed to speak anymore. I mean, it's been that way for a while. There's certain groups that seemingly have
All right. Hold on.
ties the modern political infrastructure of Britain. Review views on it. This is a long-standing 700-year tradition that ties the modern political infrastructure of Britain to its history, and they are getting rid of it. On top of that, heal the 17th Amendment and bring our senators back to appointments by state-level politicians. This is a little bit different.
All right, hang on.
This is a little bit different because
Yeah.
you inherit your political seat, which is kind of weird if you think about it. That being said, wherever your view is on it, this is a long-standing 700-year tradition that ties the modern political infrastructure of Britain to its history, and they are getting rid of it. On top of that, they are getting rid of Winston Churchill on their banknotes, among other. On top of that, they are getting rid of Winston Churchill on their banknotes, among other English leaders, and replacing them with hedgehogs and beavers. I am not kidding. Perfect. This is the end of the UK. There's no other way to explain it. You're not allowed to speak anymore. I mean, it's been away for a while. There's certain There's certain groups that seemingly have carte blanche to do whatever they want. Migrant groups. There's a polio outbreak happening now. They're not allowed to speak anymore. I mean, it's been away. You're not allowed to.
What's up? Oh, is it time to go? Anyway, that is insane. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. I just don't know what to do to help these people. All right, I actually have to get out of here. I will talk to you guys on Sunday, okay?